This is Surrey County Cricket Club. Born in a tavern in 1845. The symbol of Kennington, we've seen London grow around us. Cricket's original champions, as Charles Alcock brought his vision to life and we cemented a reputation as a place of firsts. International football, FA Cup finals, international rugby, test matches, as well as where English pride came to die, before a great rivalry was born from its ashes. We share our feathers with royalty and pass on the honour of the brown cap through generations. We've seen England's best spend their careers with us.
Well, that's Jack Hobbs. Head and shoulders, yes, over all other living batsmen.
And the game's best finish under our gasometer. We've won 7 in a row thanks to Surridge, May, Barrington, Locke, Laker and the Bedser twins. In fact, we're well known for our famous siblings, but there's always been one family who've stood out. We saw the West Indies grip a nation on our doorstep, and a pioneer set records galore in the women's game. The end of the century brought a fresh take on Ik Dien, as Holyoake and his England teammates transformed us on the pitch. The changing of the oval skyline brought the greatest of finales.
There it is. England have regained the ashes.
And an era of final test triumphs.
Alistair Cook has done it. A century in his last. Well played.
On our way to our own red ball century. We're one half of the game's oldest rivalry and its only London derby.
Can you clear the pavilion?
Local players are always the lifeblood of our side. But the world's best are attracted to us too. We've come through tragedies. Now we're home to world champions and cricketers of the year. 175 years have passed. There's much more to come. This is Surrey County Cricket Club, heart of London, pride of the county, the grandest stage in world cricket.
Along to the Keir Oval for our live stream coverage of this penultimate game in the South Group of the Vitality Blast for Surrey. It's their last home game of the group campaign as well, against Kent, who are top of the South Group, and it's really getting very, very tight as far as this T20 competition is concerned. As you can see alongside me is the former New Zealand Test captain Jeremy Coney. We'll be speaking very, very shortly, Jeremy, about all things Surrey, and particularly with some New Zealand focuses, if you don't mind. But coming up, highlights of a few Surrey games, their last win against Middlesex here at the Keir Oval. Also their last game against Kent, which was down at Canterbury 7 days ago. We're going to be hearing from their latest recruit, who's just joined for the last 2 games of the T20 Blast. And also we've got some special guests from the Harlequins Rugby Union team, so plenty to look forward to. Remember that Kent are top and Surrey are now 4th after Gloucestershire beat Middlesex earlier today, and they won by 10 runs, and they now jump up to 2nd. 6 teams in the battle for the top 4 places in the South Group, so it is a little bit of a bum fight, Jeremy Coney. But I'd really like to talk to you about the pressure that there may well be on Surrey. They started off with 3 wins out of the first 3 games. Only 2 wins have followed in the next 9 games, and of course now without key figures. There's no Roy, there's no Curran brothers, they're self-isolating. Will Jacks is out, Carl Jameson is out, Ollie Pope is out. It's going to be tough today, isn't it, Jeremy?
Yeah, it is going to be hard. Hello, David. Yeah, I think, well, we're missing a sort of an opener and an opening bowler, aren't we, today? He was available, of course, but he was available for another side, the Florence Nightingale 11, which is now called England.
England, yes, the B team.
And then, of course, a finger injury, and then also a thigh and that sort of thing. So it's not going to be easy for them. But I'm a slave to Surrey, of course, the commentary position anyway. I came a couple of years ago, enjoyed it, and returned, of course, when New Zealand came here for a couple of tests and also the final. So
you're always welcome here.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I've just parked my jet outside.
Yeah, oh, well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope so. What about this new recruit then? Talk to us about Tim David. I mean, this is a name that's kind of come out of nowhere. It's slightly caught us by surprise. What do you know about him?
Not a lot. I mean, anybody who doesn't have a last name is slightly suspicious. But however, I know that he plays for Singapore because he was born there.
Yeah. Some decent franchise cricket on his CV recently.
Well, certainly in Australia.
Yeah.
In the big
wasn't he?
the
And the Horrigans as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, just recently in the second division in Holland.
Yeah.
So he's been drawn from that. He didn't want to go back to Aussie.
Maybe you unearth gems from the strangest of places. But
he's a big hitter.
Yeah, well,
apparently.
this is it, isn't it? And I think that this is where Surrey find themselves a little bit light, maybe in terms of the finishing department, when they need to just get a little bit more off those final few overs. And of course, as far as New Zealand are concerned, there is some interest here. Of course, no Carl Jamieson for Surrey with that glute problem. So that is a significant blow. And for Kent, you've got Adam Earl, who is a fantastic bowler, took a hat-trick with the final 3 balls of the Canterbury game. So there are some angles here. And of course, you are now World Test champions, having beaten India at the Hampshire Bowl. How did New Zealand suddenly get to this kind of prominence and get to this sort of position of such dominance within the longest form of the game?
Well, they were a little bit fortunate, let's be honest. We were playing in green England at the time. If the final was played in Bangladesh, we might have had a different result.
Yeah.
So that going for them, you still have to do it. They scraped into the final, let's be fair, predicated on home wins, but that was enough. And so the conditions that they faced, I thought they picked the right team, and it was a robust and a compelling game, I thought.
Well,
very tight
lovely to
match.
Get 6 days of a test match. We needed all 6, and it was a fantastic finale.
We did. It was a good tight finish. So yeah, New Zealand have been planning it for probably 6 or 7 years. They were at rock bottom, 8th in the Test Championship at some stage, worked their way up, and we're lean and mean as a nation, small community.
Stealth, clearly. I mean, under the radar.
And in one way, it's a kind of a bit of a template, isn't it, for some of the other second-tier nations. Maybe there is another way, and we can still compete with the big 3. With all their funds and their money and their facilities. Look at this.
Yeah.
We'd love it.
Yeah. Listen, many congratulations on that. You're going to be a part of our commentary team. It's lovely to have you back. Thank you very much
David.
indeed. We'll let you go in just a moment, but first let's show our audience some recent highlights of Surrey's last win here at the Kia Oval. It was in the London Derby against Middlesex. You might have seen it on Sky Sports. They were set 175 to win. Stand by for excellent performances from Gus Atkinson, Will Jacks and Ollie Pope.
Doesn't do very much for anybody. That is smeared away leg side, hit hard and flat. Sneaking and over of off spin. And successfully. No, he's not got it over mid-off. This is a terrible start for Middlesex. Will Jacks with the 2nd wicket in the over. Powerfully struck and will beat the man out at deep mid-wicket. Strong shot in front of square. Back-to-back boundaries for Eskenazi. Short again and smashed.
Short again and too predictable, that length. What a no ball first up. It'll only be 4. Reverse sweep, and it's a good one. Trickle into the boundary, it will. Changes his pace and his trajectory.
Catch it.
Shot, it's gone all the way. Just for a moment, mid-wicket was interested, Ollie Pope. He's nailed that, absolutely nailed it. Yep, didn't spin, went for 6, I was right.
Beautiful, just too short, just not quite enough pace out of the hand and just sat up nicely. cleverly played. He may have got a little bit lucky in terms of the... Well, he was hoping for a little bit more of the bat. He got a bit more of the edge, but that was the intention. Shot, really nice shot, and gets 4, deserved 4, top shot. Beautifully struck and well placed as well. Goes all the way. That'll bring up a half century of real quality as well, particularly when his team had lost a couple of early wickets. Oh, just chips and find the gap. Nicely played in the end. He was done slightly in the flight. Rory Burns was done slightly there as well. Half century just to back up his ton last night. He's in terrific form. Great placement, great timing as well. He knew exactly where his gap was. We'll see that on the replay. He just held the pose. No, hasn't got enough. Simple catch. Simple catch for Rory Burns. He won't put that down, but that's an excellent innings. It's an excellent partnership. Brilliant catch, and Gimbon. No need to look, just walked off. The finger went up.
What a fine edge, just a kiss of death, isn't it, down the leg side? You don't want that. I mean, that's your onion, isn't it? Left-handers on your hip. He's just got, you know.
Yeah, so frustrating. Inventive and very good too. Almost outthought him, almost knew it was going to be bowled into the pitch.
Top edge and over fine leg for 4. The job just staying across what's happening in the world game. Bowled in. Very good this from Gus Atkinson. A good start.
Got deceived by the slow one there. Kind of stopped on him.
Straight up in the air. Atkinson should take it and does. Very good 18th over for Surrey and for Atkinson. Oh. 4. High on the bat's not going to beat mid-off. Jordan Clark takes a very simple catch to end Nathan Souttar's innings. We have 2 balls remaining, 3 balls remaining in the innings. Middlesex 172 for 7. Mid-on. Helm will try come back for the second. The throw comes through to Jamie Smith. Chris Green makes his ground. It's a pretty good recovery that from Middlesex. Found themselves 10 for 2.
Shot. Oh boy, that's a great shot. He comes in from the Vauxhall end, and that'll be 4, I think, from his very first delivery. The last 2 balls that he bowled against Surrey cost him 16. Oh, that's gone miles. What a shot that is. Will Jacks. Hands in. Watch how quick that bottom hand whips through. It's a long old blow out there towards Harleyford Road. Chance. Oh, goodness me. Luck not going the way of Cullen at the moment. Oh, get it in the slot, and you are going out of the park. Just gave that a bit of air, and that's gone away for 4. I was not expecting that option from Green. I really wasn't. I think he was trying to slide it under the bat of Will Jacks, but Jacks was too quick. Offside goes Smith. And that'll find the boundary as well. This is a terrific power play. Straight down the ground. He hasn't got as good a piece of that one as the 2 previous, but it's enough to get it for 4. Smith finds the boundary for the second time.
It was the best because that was a hard ball to hit. And it's Jamie Smith this time taking the attack to Nathan Souttar. Splendid strike rate for Will Jacks as he passes 1,000 runs and pulls the ball straight to deep mid-wicket. Would you believe it? Chris Green is the catcher. Stephen Finn has just pulled a rabbit out of the hat in the shape of Nick Gubbins. Luke Holman, takes it well. Useful wickets these for Middlesex. One for Gubbins, now one for Souter.
And Holman has Laurie Evans, and Surrey are spiralling.
Must give credit to the leg spinners here. This one has turned, Butch, against your will, I would say. But for the moment, Middlesex in the driver's seat.
Left-hander finds the boundary. Bowling got too far across. A flatter, straighter delivery. Holman not attempting to spin that one at all, and Rory Burns has missed it completely.
Again going for the reverse sweep. Straight on the stumps, missed it, off stump, knocked out.
Four. And this is why. Got him. He has every faith in him. He has every faith in the fielder down there as well, Holman, who takes an excellent catch.
Oh, what a start. What a start that is from Jamie Overton. Beautifully hit over long on for 6. Pope this time. Down the pitch. Over wide long on. It's another 6. Oh, it's another huge blow. It's over the pod. What an over that is for Surrey. Oh, this is an incredible hit. Incredible hit from Jamie Overton. He is playing a gem of an innings here. 23 from 9 with 3 massive 6s. Thumped away down the ground. That is a magnificent stroke from Ollie Pope. Ball before was full of invention. This is just a wonderful way to go to your half century. It's come in 34 balls with 3 4s and a 6. Well played. Not quite so well hit this time, but he wants a second, and he'll get a second. So great cheers here at the Oval as Surrey do the double over Middlesex in this year's Blast.
So that was the win for Surrey against Middlesex in the London Derby. We've let Jeremy Coney go back to his commentary position. We're joined by a trio of Harlequins players who only a couple of weeks ago were celebrating victory in the Gallagher Premiership final over Exeter at Twickenham. Very warm welcome to Aaron Morris, James Chisholm and Mark Lambert. Great to see you guys. In terms of the news from the toss, by the way, Surrey have lost the toss. Kent are going to have a bowl, so Surrey will bat first, Kent will be chasing, and there are 3 changes made to the Surrey team for the last match out, which was against Kent and Canterbury. We'll tell you those in a moment. But welcome along. Mark, we know you're a big cricket fan, you've got big Surrey connections, we'll come on to that in a bit. James, Aaron, into your cricket, like your cricket, T20, all forms, what's the story? You want to start us off?
Yeah, massive cricket fan.
Are you?
I think coming from a West Indian background, it was destined. My dad put a ball in my hand pretty young, and I played cricket alongside rugby until I was kind of 16, and then.
What did you do? Bat, bowl,
wicket, left arm over.
Okay.
Tried to get a bit of bounce with the height, but no, yeah, massive fan.
Obviously, you wouldn't really be doing that now. We'll come on to that at the moment. But you were into it from a young age, okay?
Yeah, definitely, and big England fan, big West Indies fan. That's the one fixture where I have split loyalties.
Yeah.
And then now, having been at Quins for 5 years, kind of got down to a few Surrey games.
Nice.
And they're my county of choice.
James, what about you?
Yeah, I grew up in Sussex, so Sussex is actually my kind of
home
team.
county.
Yeah. So we've been down to Hove, to the county ground when we were younger. I played as a child as well, but I was absolutely useless. And not much has changed, unfortunately. When we're in the gym trying to ping it about, I'm pretty hopeless.
Yeah, no, I hear that you play a wee bit of cricket in, just to liven things up in practice.
We've unfortunately broken the TV, so we're not allowed to play anymore, which is a bit of a shame, which wasn't any of us, thank goodness. But we do ping it about if we can.
And Mark, I mean, the good thing is we are playing cricket now. We've got a bit of a crowd in, and it's a great summer of sport, isn't it? With the Euros and Wimbledon, and seeing a bit of live cricket again.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the country's just going nuts for it at the moment. I mean, obviously the football at the moment's just at a different level, but there's so much other stuff going on. Wimbledon, the Lions tour, fingers crossed things are going to keep going from that point of view. A lot of people are following that. And then the Olympics is coming up as well. So I think everyone's just desperate to use that pent-up energy, getting out and supporting their team, definitely.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about, sport and international sport a little bit later on. But I want to just kind of dive in a little bit more into what I mentioned earlier on. You guys had a not just momentous win, but a pretty dramatic win against Exeter Chiefs, who were, of course, the defending champions in the Premiership final at Twickenham. And if you thought England versus Denmark was tense, have a look at this as we relive that final, which finished Exeter 38, Harlequins 40.
Good signs for Quins. First challenge brilliantly gathered one-handed by Tyrone Green, who was masterful in the semi-final. Despite the relatively small numbers, they've gone to the front, they've smuggled it away to Chisholm, trying to catch the Chiefs cold, driving hard towards the line, and over the line, it's a penalty try.
Because he's getting bombarded. He must be thinking, what's coming next?
Wilco Lowe shut down initially and then gets the drive on. What a power play from the Harlequins tight end. Wilco Lowe waits. It's there for Smith and Dorbrandt is in. To the Chiefs!
And Harlequins set a massive statement going in at half-time.
It's individual contact skills, yeah? Just in the gut, man on fire. Work rate into contact, body height into contact. All the progress stuff we've been doing all year. Go boy!
Quins at their best, flooding that channel, and now Murley sliding into the 22. Esther Hazen, Marchant. Exceptional rugby from Harlequins. And that's the Raisins in. A try for the ages. Simmons. It's Sam Simmons.
That could just be the most important try he's given them.
We have got some game on our hands now, haven't we?
And away goes Devoto. Just look at the emotion. Smith now darting through the hole. That's the offload away. Cunningham. There's the goose step. Here's Liner. Through the tackle. Lewis Liner.
And wow, what a grandstand finish we have.
Measured to perfection. Quinn's in front. Smith takes it on. Green on the outside arc. Here's Liner again. Chiefs need something fast. They may have something fast as Kirsten drives into the 22 and Stuart Hawke touches down for the defending champions.
End to end, unbelievable.
They're in control of their own destiny now. A destiny they can only have dreamt of. A few months back, it's Harlequins in a thriller at Twickenham.
What a game of rugby, what a final, what a season for Harlequins to come back and play the sort of rugby to trust their instinct.
One of the greatest Premiership finals of all time. Harlequins stand at the summit of English rugby again. Quins revived.
Wow, what a day that was. I mean, I can't even imagine what it must be like, to win a game like that in such dramatic fashion. James, I mean, what were the celebrations like after that game?
Yeah, it was a bit surreal, to be honest. It was a bit strange of having a lot of guys that hadn't been there ever before. But yeah, it was mental, to be honest. We went back to the stoop, friends and family were there. Great to have my entire family there.
Yeah.
And then didn't go home for about 3 days.
Well, that's fair enough. You
Didn't sleep very much, but it was a lot of fun.
And you earned it because also it wasn't the only dramatic game, because of course in the semi-final you scored a try as you came back from 28 points down. How on earth did you manage it?
I don't know. I still don't know. It's just a few of their big players came off and we sniffed an opportunity and we scored a few quick tries, and then the rest was history. Even when we were...
I think this is your try. This is the try that you scored, James, in that game. I mean, did you know then? This makes you it gets to. I think the score there was 28-17. I mean, at this point, you're thinking, oh, could it be on? Could it be on?
To be honest, when that happened, I thought we were going to win, and then every time we came to a line out or a scrum, you just sense that we're going to do this.
Yeah. You genuinely, as elite athletes, you do just get that sense, don't you? You've been in so many different sporting encounters. You just know, don't you, when something like that is on?
Yeah, to be honest, I could bore you to death and keep talking, but I've seen it a couple of times when you look across in the scrum and you just know that you're going to win. It's only happened a few times, and it happened that day. And
just when all the elements come together, you and 14 others, and you just think, this is it. And of course, Aaron, you played your part, but you got injured in that game, didn't you? And that ruled you out of the final. Not this injury, by the way, that's something else. But what an achievement, though, for Harlequins, because it's been a while since you last won the Premiership title.
Yeah, I said to the boys after the game, I think when I came off, we were 21-0 down, so I tired them out nicely for the lads. But it was an incredible achievement, incredible couple of weeks coming from where we've come from this season. I think at some points we were kind of 8th, 9th, and everyone was counting us out. So to have that season, I think we won 6 on the spin, and then make top 4 with a few games to spare, and then still massive underdogs for those last 2 games go over and turn over Bristol in Bristol and then beat the defending champs at the big dance. It was it was special.
And the defending champions, you remember, were also European champions as well. Remember, they won, you know, the Challenge Cup. So it's an incredible achievement to kind of get through that level of opposition, right? To kind of, you know, make it that far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you couldn't speak more highly of Exeter as an organisation, as a team, how they handled themselves during and after the game. I thought Rob Baxter was fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a top team, quality throughout the pitch, and we managed to sneak it. So.
Yeah, did, and you played your part. And of course, Mark, look, you know, you had 250 appearances for Harlequins over a career spanning almost 2 decades. Just tell us about, you know, what your main highlights were, what your main memories were of this incredible, because you're a one-club man.
Yeah. It's a long time. I've played for a long time. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, the day that those boys had and the semi-final the week before, that's what you do it for. You know, for those experiences, you go through the hard times in pre-season, the tough spells when you lose games, and you go through all that graft to give yourself a shot at achieving.
And what about this moment here? Coming out of the stoop with your little bubbers and you're getting that ovation, and this is what it doesn't just mean to you, but it means to everyone else who's there watching you.
Yeah, that was a really special day. That was actually the last time there were fans in before lockdown, so it was quite weird. That was my last game at the stoop, and it was my 250th for the club. Yeah, it was amazing to have those moments, to share it with the family and everyone there. And yeah, I mean, you know, you look back on a career and you remember the big days where you win stuff, but actually I think you remember the time you spend with the squad as a group, as a team, the off-field experiences, and all the good and the bad stuff, and some of those 3-day benders when you're celebrating wins as well. So yeah, thousands of memories over that period of time. I was very lucky.
Amazing, what a story. And you know, as I say again, you know, what a story over the last month or so of the season with you winning the Premiership title. Just to update you guys, you are watching, by the way, the Surrey cricket stream ahead of the T20 game against Kent. Let me just update you on the toss and indeed the teams. So Surrey have lost the toss, Kent have won it, and they've put Surrey in. Surrey with 3 changes to the last team, with Will Jacks, obviously he's with England now because most of the squad had to self-isolate after COVID outbreak within the squad for the one-days against Pakistan. He's replaced by Ben Geddes. Ollie Pope is injured, and Tim David, new signing, has come in. We're hearing from him in a bit. And Colin McCurr also comes in for his first T20 game for Surrey at the Summit, although he has already played in T20 for Derbyshire this year, and he comes in for the injured Kyle Jamieson. And one change made from Kent's side that beat Surrey last time out, and that was Zach Crawley. He is again with the England ODI squad as a late call-up, and Ollie Robinson replaces him for Kent. Let's now remind you of the last time that these two sides met, which was at Canterbury just a week ago. And in fact, as far as Kent were concerned, great partnership with Jack Leaning and Jordan Cox to put on 90 off 9 overs, both for half centurions. Kent 191 for 4. Then Will Jacks, such a great batsman, isn't he, Mark? He's just absolutely explosive. And also Laurie Evans going aerial at times, and that gave Surrey a really, really good platform. But they lost momentum after that, and Kent successfully defended 18 off the last over, with Adam Milne taking a hat-trick off the last 3 balls, as Kent were victorious by 11 runs.
Having been smashed by Somerset by 10 wickets on Monday and washed out at Hove, the Kent Spitfires were looking to get back to winning ways as they entertained the old enemy Surrey. Daniel Drummond winning the toss, opting to bat first. Maybe he was soon regretting it. LBW to Will Jacks' first ball. It was left to Joe Denley to get the innings back on track with 2 huge sixes off Kyle Jamieson. Zach Crawley's had a decent competition, rode his luck on this occasion. England colleague Rory Burns not quite able to get to that one. Jordan Clark eventually picked him up, Crawley making 24 with 4 boundaries before chopping one onto his stumps. Denley miscued a pull shot off Atkinson. Ollie Pope with the catch. He went for 36. Kent struggling at 78 for 3. That just brought Jordan Cox to the crease. He was soon in full flow. It was the closest that he went to being dismissed. Great bit of work from Jamie Overton at backward point. Jack Leaning played beautifully for 50. So He was caught Clark off the bowling of Overton. Jordan Cox made sure that Kent finished in style. A marvellous 61 unbeaten for him. Just 28 balls with 5 fours and 4 sixes. As Kent posted a pretty impressive 191 for 4. Will Jacks got off to a flyer. Jamie Smith had his middle stump uprooted by Freddie Klassen, who went for 9. Laurie Evans to the crease. So Evans was content to play second fiddle. It was really all about Jacks. Jacks didn't like that LBW decision, but he had made 87 off 54 balls, 15 fours and a 6. Daniel Bell-Drummond looking pensive at this stage. Surrey favourites, despite Jacks' dismissal. 135 for 1, suddenly became 135 for 2 at the dismissal of Jacks. That was Overton riding his luck. This time, a fielder did intercept the ball. It was Ahmed underneath that one. Overton went. Extraordinary 6 from Laurie Evans, middle tier of the flats. Can we have our ball back, please? Game in the balance. 18 needed off the final over. Ollie Pope had his stumps rearranged. Adam Milne, who'd taken some clatter at the hands of Jacks, was getting his revenge. This a big hit from Jameson. They needed 12 off 2. It looked like he might have found 6 of them. Not a bit of it. Jack Leaning had his man. That was pretty much game, set and match. But could Milne finish it in style? Laurie Evans. Zach Crawley. Evans went for 57. And Milne had a hat-trick. And more importantly, the Spitfires had their win, winning by 11. Fantastic performance by Daniel Bell-Drummond and his men. Kent are top of the South Group.
Kent victorious by 11 runs at Canterbury a week ago. Is it time for Surrey to get revenge? A reminder, they will be batting first, having lost the toss against Kent here tonight, and that game gets underway in just a few minutes' time. Give us enough time just to speak to Mark Lambert about his Surrey connection. You've got a long love affair with this county cricket club, haven't you? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was my first love, really. My dad used to bring me down. I was a junior member for many years, probably from the age of about 7. I'm a Guildford boy, so I used to go down to Woodbridge Road and watch the games down there. And yeah, during the era of the Hollyoake brothers, the Bicknell brothers, Ali Brown, I watched him score his double ton in the late 90s. So yeah, just loved it. I was that kid sat there doing the scoring in the back of the programme. My dad taught me how to do it, and I've always loved coming to the Oval. I used to sit somewhere about over there with my junior membership, and obviously it's changed a bit over the years, but the atmosphere is always amazing every time you come.
And talking about T20 cricket, do you remember the first T20 competition? Surrey won it. Ali Brown, Ian Ward scoring 50s, beat Warwickshire in the final in 2003. It was some time ago, but you know, it goes to show, you know, Surrey have got such a long, glorious 175-year history with moments like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is, no one thought it would last, did they? They thought it was a gimmick, and I remember a lot of the big players writing it off. But Adam Hollyoake was one of the guys who kind of led the charge right from the start and kind of shaped it in England. So. Yeah, I mean, Surrey have always had a great history in it, and yeah, I've always loved following it.
Do you know what, you give me the perfect segue there, Mark. Thank you so much, because Surrey have had to recruit. They're a little bit light. No Ollie Pope, no Carl Jameson. They've lost Will Jacks to England as well, and they need a middle order finisher. So in steps Tim David, who's had some T20 franchise experience recently at the PSL for Pakistan and also over in the Big Bash for Perth Scorchers and Hobart Hurricanes. He's been in conversation with Mark Church.
Tim, lovely to see you. First thing to say is welcome to Surrey and the Kia Oval, my friend. I would have thought it's been a pretty whirlwind couple of days, hasn't it?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. It's good to be here. It's been a busy few days, but excited to play tonight and hopefully put a good performance in.
Yeah, just explain to us how the moves come about, because obviously you, after the PSL, you've been playing league cricket in Holland. So when did you first get a call to say, do you fancy a bit of Vitality T20 Blast?
Yeah, so got a call that Kyle had hurt himself in the unfortunately in the championship game, and that there might be an opportunity to come over and play. We just kind of had to wait on his scan result to kind of confirm that. So then I think what's today, Friday, might have been Tuesday night or Wednesday even, and then I was on a flight yesterday. So yeah.
And how good is it to sort of be here and be at the Kia Oval and sort of meeting everybody in the dressing room for the first time?
Oh, it's great. It's always fun being a part of somewhere new, and to be here at Surrey's, it's really exciting.
And how much you've got experience in Big Bash, you've got experience in the PSL. How much are you looking forward to playing in the domestic competition here as well?
I'm looking forward to playing a lot. I think it's obviously I'm sitting out overlooking the ground now. It's a beautiful ground, and I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to contribute as part of the team and see that maybe my game stands up over here too.
Yeah, I've seen you on the telly. Just explain to everybody the sort of player that you are, sir.
Okay. Well, I bat in the middle order in T20 cricket. I like trying to play normal cricket shots, but I also very much enjoy trying to take the boundaries on and hit as hard as I can.
And of course, Surrey, we've had some very good overseas players over the years. Thinking of the likes of Aaron Finch, obviously in T20. They've got Hashim Amla at the moment as well, of course. How does it feel to be in that sort of group of players coming over to play in the T20?
Yeah, I think obviously how quickly the opportunity came up and how long I've been here has meant that I've got the chance, because normally Surrey has access to some of the more developed or more recognised players. But I think for me, it's just a great opportunity to be able to show what I can do. And, it's an important time for the club. If we win 2 games here, then through to the finals. So if I can play my role, then I'll be really pleased with that.
Yeah.
So that is Tim David, and here's the new recruit. Let's hand you straight to our commentary team. For us here at the Oval this evening, Jeremy Coney, Matt Cole, and of course Mark Church.
over gone, and it's a 4 for none Surrey.
Yeah, it is, and that is interesting. That one did grip and that one did turn, and well, Denley will like the look of that. Case Ahmad will like the look of that, and Moriarty and Batty will like the look of that. But that's the way Surrey have gone about it here. They've had the pitch slap bang in the middle of the square, then the big boundaries, and often say sort of run the opposition ragged if they can. Problem for Surrey was a couple of the opposition twigged before they did in a couple of games that they lost here with Essex and Somerset. So it's going to be Adam Milne, the hat-trick taker, this time last week, and it's Ben Geddes on strike as Milne is over the wicket from the pavilion end, and Geddes turns this one off his hip into the leg side. He'll look for 2, they may even get 3 here. There is so much space down towards fine leg that they will pick up 3, so that's good running from Geddes and Smith, and these two are having a look. I think it's fair to say they're having a little look in this first couple of overs, just sussing out what's going on. Ground looking great tonight, 5,000 in tonight, so pavilions lit up, and the new stand, the MAR Galadari stand away there to our left with the new hospitality area. Lots of people stood up on the roof there watching away. The 2 outside the circle, deep backward square, and a third man, Jamie Smith on strike to Milne. Milne's over the wicket to Smith. Smith's looked to pull. It's a top edge. This will be the end of Jamie Smith. It's a simple catch taken at extra cover. Denley, I think it is there, who takes the catch, and Jamie Smith looking to pull. Adam Milne off a not that short a delivery actually, and it went straight up in the air. Simple chance for Joe Denley. Surrey lose their first wicket in the second over. Jamie Smith gone for 1, and Surrey are 7 for 1.
Yeah, pressure on already for Surrey, but you're right, didn't really get the picture of that at all. And Milne's taken the first wicket for against Surrey in the previous game, which was just a week ago.
All caught at long off, as I seem to remember, or deep mid-wicket, weren't they?
He was very, very self-deprecating, Adam Milne, about the hat-trick. He said, I can't really the exact word he used, but he used basically that's the scruffiest hat trick you'll ever see.
He'll take better ones.
Thank you to the fielders.
He'll take better ones than that. But fair play to him, because I thought, actually looking at that game last week, I thought Surrey were in complete control of that run chase with Will Jacks and this gentleman Laurie Evans, who's just gone out there. Jacks went brilliant innings of 87, and then I thought Kent hit their Yorkers quite brilliantly, and I thought they bowled superbly well at the back end of that Surrey run chase and really just shut Surrey down completely. And then Adam Milne with a hat-trick at the end, so very good win that for Kent, as Laurie Evans with some unfinished business, I think it is fair to say, tonight against Kent, as Evans looks to drive. This delivery from Milne, thick inside edge, rolls back up the pitch, and there is no run. Just noticed the Surrey flag atop the pavilion roof isn't on the middle flagpole tonight. It's on the left flagpole as we look. I don't know why it's not on the middle flagpole, but it's fluttering away in the breeze there, up on the left flagpole down there on top of the pavilion roof, as Milne runs towards us once again, comes in over the wicket to Laurie Evans. Evans opens the face, guides this one off down towards third man, and they will pick up a single, 1 more to the total. Evans off the mark, and Surrey 8 for 1 in this second over.
You can hear almost the crowd just trying to get into this. There's a bit of they're waiting for it to go for 4. These Surrey fans, they want to let loose, don't they? Not sure we'll have Sweet Caroline quite yet.
Yes, well, it's been adopted as by football,
cricket's
I believe.
Lent it
Yes,
football,
yes, indeed.
Are you still allowed to use it at cricket, or is
I believe you are. I believe you are.
It's a reciprocal loan
until Sunday night, as waiting his Geddes over his bat on 6, made his first class debut down at the Aegeus Bowl this week, as Milne is over the wicket to him. Sure, he's looked to pull that. That's gone past his outside edge, and into the gloves it goes of keeper Ollie Robinson, moving away to his right hand side. So Jordan Cox. No, it is Ollie Robinson. Sorry, my apologies. Robinson with the gloves on. Jordan Cox is out at backward point. He of the wild card.
Yes,
Mr. Klassen
he'll be
as
here.
well. He'll be here.
Fred Klassen will be at Old Trafford.
Lovely.
Ironically, I was chatting to him. He was 12th man up there for the Forder game.
Exciting.
You're working out which corner of the dressing room is yours, Fred asked.
In over the wicket again is Milne. Good length delivery, pushed by Ben Geddes straight back up the pitch. There's no run. Very good over that from Adam Milne. Just the 4 runs off it and the wicket. of Jamie Smith here on BBC Radio Kent, BBC Radio London, Surrey live stream, BBC website, the BBC Sports app. We're probably somewhere else I don't know about as well. 8 for 1 after 2 overs. Surrey, Evans on 1, Geddes on 6.
Yeah, I think if you put a golf club up in the air in the right part of the southeast, you might be able to
pick us up.
Get that on your fillings. Something like that. Is that right? But
there's
maybe unofficially
taxi drivers near Rochester who, instead of getting their calls for picking people up from the pub, they're getting you and I.
Yeah. Maybe at Cobham as well, is that right? You can triangulate between the three. Anyway, a shot into the offside, inside out from Evans, but can't beat the field at the moment. Blake picks up. Just early impressions of this pitch. Perhaps it's a little bit sticking in the pitch, but he's not coming off the bat as quick.
Yeah, it's gripping. There's no doubt about that
Evans
whatsoever.
Tried a huge pull, didn't he, in the previous over against Milne? It didn't seem to be shooting through, but certainly gripping with the spinner, as you say. This one's pushed out in the offside, and there's no run. 8 for 1.
Well, Joe Denley's leg spin, I've always thought is very underrated, but tonight he's bowling like Shane Warne.
Yes, indeed. He's conceded just 4 so far. Down the pitch comes Evans. Takes the bomb hand off as he drives it up to Jordan Cox at long off, but didn't feel he was in full control of that. Enough control to keep it down. But again, it's sort of skewed off slightly, didn't it?
Yeah.
9 for 1. And I say that as no criticism of Laurie Evans, who's a fine batsman, but it just indicates that it's not easy out there. First few balls. Denley once more, pushed into the onside. It's just a little nudge from Geddes to square leg. Sidearm by Clarkson, who's fielding there.
Mr. Coney's going to join you after 5 overs, Mr. Cole. Joy to have him here again tonight.
And Denley over the wicket. That's just a little engineer into the into mid wicket, along the ground. In from the boundary comes Jack Leaning, sidearms it in. 10 for 1. Took an excellent catch actually. It was one of that Milne's hat-trick, wasn't it, in last week.
I thought Kent shut that run chase down brilliantly last week.
And they have fielded really well as well throughout this competition, which is just part of, isn't it, really? Cut away, but won't beat the fielder at backward point. Single taken. There's a shy at the stumps from Matt Milnes, but it was never going to catch Laurie Evans out, even with a direct hit, and it wasn't. So single to end the over, 11 for 1. Then he's gone for 7 off his 2. Now, he is a good bowler. That still indicates to me, as you say, this will be tricky to bat against spin.
It's not often you have the first 3 overs of a T20 game and you haven't had a boundary. So we haven't had a boundary yet. We've had a 3, but we haven't had a boundary as yet. And Adam Milne will bowl the 4th over. Of course, I've got quite used to this after Mr. Amler's 37 off 278 deliveries, which is up there now in my top 3 days of my life. As in over the wicket then comes Milne to Evans. He's looking at a whip leg side. That hits the pad, rolls back up the pitch, and there's no run.
Because we had a similar situation at Lancashire. Kent batting out for draw as well. Jack Leaning batted for just 150 odd balls for his 50. And young James Logan was there for nearly 20 overs, batting for 3.
Old school.
But we were comparing it, saying, I mean, this is something. This is a rear goal action, but Amler's a wall up there.
Unbelievable.
Incredible effort.
I think only himself and Alistair Cook probably are capable of doing that in the modern game. In over the wicket again comes Milne, and this one's just nipping back, hits Laurie Evans up on that back thigh, rolls away to backward point. Oh, it's nipping around out there tonight. It really is. 12 for 1, and Ben Geddes comes down to do some gardening. If you're just joining us, good evening to you from South London. A balmy evening, I would describe it as. Warm, humid, cloud cover, bit of blue sky away to our left. 5,000 in. Jamie Smith out in the 2nd over for 1. Evans has 3. Ben Geddes is on 7. Kent winning the toss, sticking Surrey in. As over the wicket comes Milne to Geddes, and can't get this away. Milne bowling wicket to wicket with a little bit of nibble, and that one's off the inside edge and rolls in there towards mid-wicket. And then Fred Clarkson does the fielding. I'll tell you who could be quite awkward on this. Dee Stevens. On this sort of surface, Dee Stevens could be a right old handful. He's down there on the edge of the circle at fine leg at the moment. And as I say, Case Ahmad will quite like the look of this. As Milne runs towards us, comes over the wicket to Ben Geddes, and Geddes again, it just comes back at him as he's looking to force through the offsides. Well bowled by Adam Milne. So we've had 4 balls of this over. We've had a leg bye. It hasn't really sort of lit up yet, this game.
I think it's a measure of the quality of Adam Milne. I think he's taking a bit of pace off here, isn't he? I don't think he's bowling at full lick.
It's not a trick. It's a tricky surface, this.
Yeah.
You can see already. We're in the 4th over.
But he's not going for all-out pace, it feels like to me anyway. I don't think it's that slow.
Here he comes once again. Blue wristband on that left wrist is over the wicket. There's a slower ball, and he's almost dragged it straight onto his stumps as Geddes looking to drive through the offside. He'll get a single. Ben Geddes moves on to 8. 13 for 1, sorry. Well, I think we know the blueprint now for the rest of the game. I think it's pace off and spin for the rest of this game tonight.
This could be a low-scoring thriller.
It could be a low-scoring thriller.
I make these predictions and they'll score 100, 220 now, won't they?
There's nothing like a low-scoring thriller.
Like
I'm quite a fan of the old low-scoring thriller. As over the wicket comes Milne again to Evans, and it's short, and Evans has looked to hook that, and it's one bounce down to Darren Stevens, and again, even that delivery, it didn't feel like it had got onto him. So he just gets a single, does Laurie Evans. 4 gone, and Surrey 14 for 1, having been stuck in by Kent. Laurie Evans has 4, Ben Geddes has 8, and it's going to be fascinating as well to see how Daniel Bale-Drummond sort of uses his bowlers here as well.
This is a curious business, this pitch, isn't it? It's fascinating. So many times we come to the Oval and ball's been carrying onto the bat, and batsmen smashing it all around this wonderful ground. But none such tonight. Clarkson, it'll be next, left arm over the wicket. Brief conversation with Daniel Bale-Drummond. Missed the county championship game. Daniel Bale-Drummond, he's having an ongoing problem with his right hand, just the grip basically. So they rested him because obviously, I think it hadn't necessarily come to a head, but he needed rest. And the T20 is the one they're going for, Kent. Obviously, they're pretty much Division 3 bound in the championship. Clarkson over the wicket then. It's a attempted drive. He's tucked him right up on the off stump though, and it only gets as far as Blake at cover. This is Laurie Evans batting.
I think as a batter at the moment, this is about working out a method of how you're going to score your runs on here. And again, I think what we're seeing already is finding the boundary is going to be pretty difficult. So it's going to be the old running between the wickets again, I think.
It's boundary riders forward a square on each side at the moment. The 2 outfielders is slammed up towards Jordan Cox. Throw at the stumps at non-striker's end. I think he might have been out if it hit, but he didn't. They come through for a single. It's at 15 for 1. Surrey, pretty close from Jordan Cox. He's just scratching his chin there. Yeah, he knows he was close, I think.
I don't think Laurie Evans was in the picture. I think if that had hit.
Looked well out. You could see from Jordan Cox's reaction, he absolutely thought that was a chance.
Well, he tried to give that everything, Laurie Evans, so he's slightly off balance when he started running anyway. He was sort of on his back foot. And Cox was quick there at mid-off.
15 for 1 then in the 4th over, sorry. This is shorter ball from Clarkson, whips through, actually comes off a length through to Ollie Robinson, takes it shoulder high, and there's no run.
Yeah, Laurie Evans comes into play here. He's the experienced T20 player. Ben Geddes is still very early in his career. Made a first-class debut this week, but he's trying to pull that to the biggest part of the ground here. Now, you wonder whether down to third man for that delivery might be an option.
Just not timing it at the moment. Clarkson, that's big, but a fielder underneath it. Jack leaning, sets himself and catches. And gone. Surrey 15 for 2. And Ben Geddes swipes the air in frustration as he goes. Went for the big one. Still no boundaries for Surrey in this innings in the T20, even though we're in the 5th over. It's really tucked him up. It's got very close to him. He hasn't got room to free his hands. He's gone through the shot anyway. He's just looped up to Jack Leaning. He doesn't miss those, not this summer. Jack Leaning, 15 for 2, Surrey in the 5th.
Yeah, good bit of bowling from Clarkson, but we said it, that's the longest part of the ground basically that Ben Geddes was going to there, and if you don't get all of it, then the fielder's always in the game, and really Leaning there took a couple of steps forward and took a pretty simple catch. So Ben Geddes goes for 8, and Rory Burns makes his way out into the middle. Pretty good fella to have in this sort of situation. Rory Burns will nudge Nurdle and hit the odd big shot. Will Rory Burns, but yeah, this is a great start from Kent. They've worked this one out very quickly, and Surrey have got some work to do here now.
Yeah, it feels like the bowlers are absolutely on the money. As I said, it looks like Milne is bung a lot of slow. I mean, obviously he's an experienced quick bowler, has played all around the world in T20 franchise cricket, but 15 for 2, sorry. Evans on strike as the batsman crossed. He'll just dab that into the offside. In comes Case Ahmed, gets that rather caught up between his hand and his left foot, and they do come through for a comfortable single in the end, 16 for 2.
They've got left-right hand combination now, Surrey, so those singles just changes it around with Klaasen having to bowl to the left-handed Burns. As I say, these two are experienced, Burns and Evans. They've just got to work out a way here of getting the scoreboard ticking. But Rory Burns, he's had a quiet T20 so far, Rory Burns, but he's got 15 overs to bat here, which sort of plays into Rory Burns' hands really. So 15 overs to bat, he's got a bit of time to rebuild. The one thing that Surrey haven't done, he's lost 4 wickets in the power play or something like that. I know it's not a cracking start, but they've still got batting.
Klaasen then to Burns and wraps him on the thigh pad out into the offside, no run. Again, just couldn't time it there. End of that 5th over. Mark Church, thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Coney's joining you, Mr. Cole, to summarise for you. So I know my place. I'm going now, and I might just go home. So I've got 2 of the greats now on commentary.
You do Jeremy Coney just respect, and you do me way too much service. Mark, thank you very much. BBC London, BBC Radio Kent on DAB for BBC Radio Kent listeners. We're on the World Wide Web via BBC Sport website and app, on the Surrey stream here as well. And Kent in a great position here. Looks like a sticky one out there. 16 for 2. Surrey just not able to time the ball off this surface. Milnes, plural rather than Milne singular, joins the fray for Kent for his first over. And welcome Jeremy Coney.
Hello Matt, how are you?
I'm well. Milne's now bowling to Evans. He's top edged that. Who's underneath it? It's going to be Klaasen, I think. Takes the catch, and they're 16 for 3 now. Surrey just top edges it up. No one can time the ball out there, and it's a parade at the moment for Surrey. 16 for 3. Klaasen at mid wicket gets underneath it. I think a number of the Kent fielders wonder where it was going to land, but Klaasen had got underneath it very early. It's a simple catch in the end. Milne strikes with his first ball. 16 for 3, and hardly time for pleasantries between you and I, Jeremy Coney. But having had a look at this pitch, what are you thinking? I'm
thinking that it's slowish, and I'm thinking that it's holding up, and I think what we've seen pace off the ball from some of the faster bowlers already. It's been successful, and the batsmen haven't quite picked up that they can't turn the blade of the bat through the line of the ball that presents the front edge. There's been 3 bad shots really from the Surrey side, who need to win tonight. We've got to make that clear, and I know they're without, a thigh and a bottom, and then obviously someone who's available but not available in not Jamie Smith, Will Jacks. But you can't turn the blade unless you've actually got yourself in and you know the pace of the pitch. Now 2020 as a format is not really going to let you do that, is it? You've got to play with the straight blade. There's nothing wrong with going down and hitting it back past the bowler, as long as you can get it over the 30-metre circle. There's a mid-on and mid-off inside the circle. You just need to make a contact. You can never make a contact with the edge.
Milne's in second ball to Burns. Was that a chance? There was an ooh and an ah certainly from the crowd there as Milnes went down on his follow through, but it has just ended up at mid-on. That's Blake nudging forward there, Rory Burns, a little bit tentatively, but no one's got in on this so far. It's looking like a bit of a viper pit.
Well, Smith really, because Jacks isn't there, he became sort of super important in a way. He's opened most of the time,
It's Burns faces Milnes now. Just angles the bat to run it to point, throw the long striker's end by Cox, but batsman well in his ground, 16 for 3.
And I don't know whether it's confused thinking, but was he looking at this stage? I mean, there was no square leg when Milne bowled his very first ball to Smith. There was no square leg, so he looked to knock it there to get a single, but he turned the blade too quickly. Another top edge, taken this time by cover.
So Milnes then to Rory Burns, down the pitch this time. Burns takes a step down and it bumps awkwardly for the fielder Alex Blake, but they run through for a single, no more than a push up to mid-on. So 17 for 3 they are, coming towards the end of the power play.
Yeah, and then Geddes, who got himself in just a little bit, didn't he? As you say, no boundaries yet. There's been nothing, well, not too much on offer, and you've got to make something, and that's, I think, what Geddes was trying to do, look to pull it, but it's a left armer going across you as a right-hander, always that angle closing down, and always difficult unless it's leg side and over your shoulder.
Tim David, it's his first ball faced as a Surrey player, more on him in a second. Milnes bowls to him now, wraps him on the pad, umpire says no, it's gone out towards the offside, and leaning Fields, I wonder if there might have been an inside edge on that, or an edge itself, but 17 for 3, 2 balls to go of the power play. Really slow going for Surrey. Looks like a sticky pitch out there. I'd say for the Kent bowlers, well, I thought Adam Milne particularly, who's rapid, took pace off the ball really well.
He saw straight away. Once he saw it starting to nip around and grip a wee bit, he then altered his style, didn't he? Yep, you need to do that, adjust to the conditions.
Milnes to David now, steps across his stumps, cuts away, one bounce to leaning at backward point, no run, end of the power play then. It's been a very, very long time since I've seen a score as low as that in T20. I can't remember it, to be honest. 17 for 3 off 6 overs here at the Oval.
No, well, it makes it very difficult for Surrey. Surrey really, as I say, with a lot of replacements in today. You know, some people on debut and all sorts. Some have arrived from Holland. You know, that's from the second division, one might add.
And that's what Tim David's been playing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Rory Burns, it's important he gets a go here. He's going to have to face Qais Ahmed here now, and that's not going to be easy for him. He can bowl the wrong one as well. So he's going to have to be watched very closely. I don't know how much these players will have seen of Qais Ahmed, I don't know. But he's played a lot of 2020 cricket, hasn't he?
He has indeed, yes. Big Bash, PSL, IPL as well.
Yes.
Bowls now to Burns. Little flick into the onside. They'll come back for 2, will they? No, not the arm of Klaassen, just the single. So 18 for 3 in the 7th over, sorry.
The value, of course, of Burns there is if he bowls his leg break, it's coming in and he will be able to access that onside. That's why you'd expect Ahmed, once he's got into his work in the first, say, an over, he can bowl a few wrong-uns, actually, at Burns and see how he handles that. See if he picks it. Certainly have a slip-in for him at 3 for 18, wouldn't you?
He bowls a very sprightly quick ball as well, Qais Ahmed. I think he's bowled bouncers on occasion. I saw on his highlight reel from the Hobart Hurricanes before he arrived here. But I don't think they'll be doing that tonight necessarily. Bowls now to David outside the off-stump. Goes on with the arm really, or just a little bit of turn away. And there's no run, 18 for 3. David's having a look. Might as well at this point, surely, Jeremy. They've got a low score, but these two need to stay in.
Yeah, they've got to certainly get to what you would think 140, wouldn't you, if they can?
Ahmed to him once again, cut away, but only as far as the fielder once more. Everything is going to hands for Kent at the moment. 18 for 3, sorry. As I said, David has none, Burns has 2. High score at the moment is Geddes. Everyone's gone in double figures. Still no boundaries in this innings. And we're in the 7th over here on BBC London, BBC Radio Kent. Ahmed now to David. Cuts away towards the offside boundary. That'll be a single fielded by Klaassen, who's been pushed out actually for that next delivery. So one more. Not what the Surrey crowd wanted to see. You can hear the buzz of expectation. These fans want to get behind Surrey here. They want to explode into life. But at the moment, it's the team from down the road. It's the Kent Spitfires. Ahmed outside the off stump for Burns. He's gone chasing him there, Burns, and drives it back to the bowler. Fields off his own bowling. Dot ball. And even though they might have time for a look for a couple of overs here to try and build something, dot balls produce pressure, don't they, Jeremy, in this form of cricket? And these two have got a bit of experience behind them. Reverse from Burns, in the air. Is it going to be caught? No, it's not. Bounces just before leaning. I think he was gambling on getting there for the catch, but it's bounced just before him. What he has done is got his body in front of it. It's just 2 in the end rather than the boundary. 21 for 3, so it's still just 4 off the over, and they're going at exactly 3 and over, Surrey, at the moment. Although this might be a sticky wicket, they have to put something to challenge Kent on. If it's
that's the 140, I think. I don't feel, I mean, without Will Jacks opening up the bowling for them, that's really a big hole in their armoury, I think. We'll wait and see, of course, but yes, they're just letting too many dot balls build pressure on them. They've got to either make a decision about how they wish to play the game, minimise the dot balls by running hard, ones into twos and so on. This is a big ground, if you look at it, really. Lots of gaps, so it's getting close to the ball and placing it away from the outfielders. There are not many in the outfield really at the moment. So that's really the job for the next over or two.
Milnes to David now, 1 for 1 in his first over. Goes through the inside edge, took all the pace off it there, did Milnes, and it's bounced twice to Robinson. Slower ball once again. Milnes is learning his trade to a certain extent. He's been on an England Lions tour. Came out of Nottinghamshire a couple of seasons ago for more first-team cricket for Kent. Seems to be maturing very well indeed. But yeah, he's got a slower ball there. It's beaten David, as Jeremy said, was playing out in the Netherlands a couple of weeks ago. Shorter ball, whips that away. 1 bounce though, and it still gets to a fielder. Klaassen, Dutchman himself, 1 bounce into Robinson behind the stumps. And that'll be just the 1 in the end. 22 for 3 in the 8th here. It really is a crawl for Surrey. These two sides were both batting out the end of their county championship matches, stonewalling, but I don't know, perhaps they brought that pace with them to the... Everyone's tempted to think that it's not... the problem isn't going from championship to T20, but the other way around, perhaps. Or rather, back as you were. Milnes then, just adjusting the field. Case Ahmad is going to go out to deep square leg for Burns. Leaning is at deep mid wicket. There's a deep third man, a deep fine leg as well. Milnes steaming in, bowling to Burns now. Drops it into the offside, but it'll be fielded by Darren Stevens. There's no run. Just sidearms it into Ollie Robinson. 22 for 3. I can see the point of Surrey want to make sure these batsmen stay in for a while, because they continue to lose wickets, they can lose all momentum, but at the moment there is no momentum, no boundaries at all in this innings, and we're through 7.5 overs right now. Milnes bowls to Burns, just lets that run off the face, opens the face down to Klaassen, and single taken. 23 for 3. But I'm saying, Jeremy, I can't remember a slower start to T20 that I've seen here for maybe not even ever. I'm not sure. This is extraordinary at the moment.
But decent bowling, I think you'd have to say, adjusted to the condition, but you're always the game's presiding geniuses, and they've worked out the pace to bowl.
It's a good point. Bowling first as well, that is the task.
Should be 2.
Yeah, it should be. Just a little nudge and run. Well, there we go. There's a nudge and run by David up towards mid-wicket. There's a man coming in from long on, and Beldrummond coming round for mid-off. I'd like to have seen, for Surrey's sake, I would have liked to have seen a bit more aggression with the running there, but I suppose David has only just met his teammates. You be going 2 there?
2 there, yes. As soon as it gets only to the outside of the 30-metre circle, there's always a 2. I know Beldrummond was coming across, but he had to turn, throw.
Milnes to Burns, 2 paces down the wicket, but I think Milnes has seen him covering, and again he's taken pace off the ball, and Burns can only push it back at him, just nudge it gently back to the feet of the bowler. Just 3 off that over. We are 24 for 3 here on BBC London, BBC Radio Kent, from 8 overs. Surrey. This could well be a championship game at the moment. The bowling figures are ridiculous for a T20, but slowish pitch, but at the moment Kent making much the better of it than Surrey.
And a wee bit grippy too, isn't it? I mean, so for the spinners it brings them into play. Certainly Denley got one to turn, passed across the face of the bat. Let's see what Case Ahmed can do here. Got to get close to it if you want to drive.
He's wearing a bright yellow headband today. It's cut away by David out towards the offside. Again, it's Klaassen who fields. Single taken. It's a direct hit by Klaassen from a good distance. Thumbs up from Kees Ahmed. They can afford to be very casual about the ball flying off the stumps, even though the batsmen were well in their ground. 25-3 for Surrey. Is it about this pair staying in and making sure they can shepherd it to the end, to whatever they can build as a target?
He can get across to his off stump and look to play onside here if he wants to. Plenty of gaps.
To the left-handed Burns, absolutely right. The gap is right out there at mid-wicket to Klaassen once more, but just a singles. Klaassen comes in from the boundary. 26-3.
That's right, that was straight enough so he couldn't use a sweep stroke there, but as soon as it's outside his eyes on that leg side, then Burns can actually open up and get behind square with the sweep stroke, going with the spin.
Here's Ahmed now, bowls to David. One bounce to the man Denley at a wide-ish mid-off. More of an extra cover there, so no run. It's more or less full length, that one. He's tried to slam it past Denley, but again it's gone straight at the fielder. Just can't find the gaps on this big ground. David straight back at the bowler. He took a bit of pace off there, Ahmad, as well, as he saw David clearing away to the leg side. Dot ball. There's 2 more dots. 2 balls to come of this 9th over. Still no boundaries for Surrey. A drive past Daniel Bell-Drummond beats the infielder, but then Alex Blake is up there at long on. So they'll just take a single. 27-3. I can see Jack Leaning warming up on the leg side boundary, the offside boundary for Burns as well. Bowls a bit of spin. His best bowling in this competition earlier in the qualification group. A 3-wicket haul against Essex. Here's Ahmad now to Burns. Little flick into the onside, and that will be a single. End of Ahmad's over. And that is 28-3 Surrey. I'll say it once again, this is an astonishing start to this game. 28 from 9 overs in a T20 blast. They're going to have to start.
Well, they have to get to 40, you would think, and that would leave only 10 overs, so that's halfway.
Yeah.
So they really need, from here on in, I'm afraid, 10s to get to that total, which is a minimal one anyway. But I don't think they can really defend and hope to defend something less than that. So, and having lost 3 of their top order already, that's not, well, you wouldn't say, you'd be optimistic to think that was going to occur.
And that's the problem, is it's setting a very low total. The side batting second, they can then just think about singles. They can just nudge the ball around and get close to it without any real pressure on. And Leaning bowling to Burns. Again takes a couple of strides down the pitch, up to long on for a single, fielded by Alex Blake. I don't know whether the 2 of them would have had a conversation. Maybe Leaning is might be perceived as the least potent of the Kent's attack.
This is where he can hit onside. There's again a big gap between long on and looks like they're putting in a straightish mid-wicket on the boundary.
Off spinner coming in then over the wickets, straight at him. Oh, it's hit him, I think. Jack Leaning, he was falling away. I'm not sure if that was a chance or whether it's a bounce ball. It's got at him at an extraordinary rate. Jack Leaning, he cleared him out. Well, Leaning, fortunately we can see from the close-up, has a huge smile on his face. David's smiling. The umpire's got his hands on his head. That was really, really close. He was driven at a rate of knots. And it's kind of Gould at the far end there, is it? He's just crossing himself, I think, literally. Jack Leaning said, I'll have my hand over my heart. Nearly cleaned him out. Oh, reverse attempt. It's going to go to the boundary, I think, for the first time, I think. Has he got any bat on it? The crowd don't care. It's byes. Listen to that roar. I said this crowd wanted to get into it, and some ironic cheers, some just relief, I think.
And warming the hands, I would say.
Attempted reverse sweep by or a switch hit from Burns. He's missed it completely. It's gone over the off stump and through to or leg stump rather, through for a boundary. 4 byes then. Leaning again. It's the reverse. Stevens can't stop it. It's going to go for 4. That's off the bat this time. And this Oval crowd absolutely love it. That's what this place is capable of doing, even with 5,000 people in here, sounding like an absolute cauldron. Consecutive 4, if you like.
A rash of boundaries.
They'll have 10 and over in no time,
yes.
Jeremy. You're absolutely right. But we're coming towards the end of the 10th over. Sorry, not the end of the 10th over. Yeah, 2 balls to come. Mark Church will replace me, Matt Cole, alongside Jeremy Coney. And around the wicket comes Leaning to Burns. He goes to reverse again. He's picked this one beautifully. That'll be another 4. 1 bounce this time. And they are targeting Leaning, but Burns is targeting him by changing sides, by switch hitting at every ball of this over so far. All but one, sorry, I beg your pardon. Not letting Leaning settle. And to say this has been the most expensive over will be a massive underestimate. 14 coming off it through extras and off the bat, and they only had 28 to start.
It was 4 overs before 14 was scored by everybody else.
Breaking the shackles then. 1 ball to come. And Leaning around the wicket. Burns comes down the wicket, drives it up on the full, actually takes the power off it. Does Burns straight to Denley. It's a dot ball. 42 for 3 then off 10 overs for Surrey. It's been a very, very slow start, but just breaking the shackles a little bit, and they have to start doing that, Surrey as well. Kenda bowled very, very well in the first half of this Surrey innings. Mark Church to join Jeremy Coney.
Yeah, well, it's been obviously a disappointing start for Surrey. I mean, no partnerships to speak of whatsoever, no boundaries to speak of, no threes to speak of. In fact, it's all been just dots and ones up until that last over, when at last a couple of boundaries came, and at least they've got to that 40. Well, I think we're going to have to set them targets each over here so that they can get through. So they've got to be at least 50 at the end of this over.
I thought they might declare after a couple of boundaries. Case Ahmad's in, and this is turned by David into the leg side, and there is no run. I'm trying to rack my brains to think of a game that I've been to, 2020, where the first boundary has come in the 10th over.
Yeah.
I can't think of another game where I've seen that in T20s. Case Ahmed in again. Here goes David down the ground for 6. So his first maximum for Surrey, and Tim David picking Case Ahmed up and slinging him straight back down for 6 runs. And 48 for 3 off first maximum. Jeremy Coney, it's sort of woken the crowd up, unsurprisingly, the last couple of overs.
Yeah, it has. It's wide enough that you could sort of baseball it. It was a length that David felt that he could actually get across and just slog it straight down with a slightly angled bat straight back over the bowler's head. If there is a shorter boundary, it's the straight boundaries here at the Oval, so it's not a bad one to target.
We've lost the ball now.
Right, no, we've got to get that one back.
Yeah, it's gone under the covers. So
going to hide.
It's members of the ground staff and the Kent reserve players now going under the covers to try and... Oh, look, Case Ahmed's come down as well. So he's obviously seen where it's gone. So Case Ahmed's running down. Alex Blake's just emerged from under a cover.
I think it's a selection of the next ball, is it?
Well, I think we found it.
No.
Yep, here it comes. So well done, Alex Blake. He's emerged from... Oh, he's found a tennis ball as well. He's emerged from under the covers with our ball. Case Ahmed's actually run down to the physio for a drink down below us. Cox has got something in his eye, so he's been to see the physio. How can 1-6 cause so much trouble, Jeremy Coney?
Well, it's ruffled their feathers.
It certainly has. Dear old Alex Blake, there's been under the covers. He found a tennis ball as well. So Case Ahmed will continue. This is one of the stranger games I've been to. 48 for 3, Surrey. Sort of at one point I thought they were all sort of going into their inner Hashim Amlas, as in over the wicket comes Case Ahmed, and this one's turned into the leg side
or
by
Dom
David.
Or Dom Sibley, yes.
And
inner Sibley or Pajara.
Yep, the inner Amla of the Aegeus Bowl. Single for David. He moves on to 13. Surrey in the 11th over here, a 49 for 3.
And they're racing up and flying.
Well, actually, to be fair, compared to what we had after the first night, 28 for 3 after 9. Case Ahmad is into Rory Burns. Full toss. He's dinked this into the leg side. Wants to, but David's not coming back for the second. And I can see what Rory Burns is doing. Dink it leg side. Big space. Come back for 2.
If you can.
Yeah, but David there wasn't going to ever come back for the second. 50's up for Surrey. 50 comes up in the 11th over for Surrey. So Tim David, who was playing club cricket in Holland at the beginning of the week, as in over the wicket comes Ahmad, and he's turning this one nicely, neatly, tidily into the leg side, thinking about 2 again. Good from Leaning, gets round very quickly and gets the throw away. 1 bounce over the top of the stumps. 51 for 3. I did actually speak to him.
There's the 50.
Yep, I did actually speak to Mr. David before the game started. I said, it's been a whirlwind few days for you. He said, yes, it has been. But he's obviously delighted to be here in domestic cricket, as this one's turned leg side by Rory Burns, down towards long on. Cox does the fielding. End of Case Ahmad's over. 11 have gone, Jeremy Coney. And here on BBC Radio Kent and BBC Radio London and the Surrey live stream, Surrey 52 for 3 with 9 to go.
So yeah, the Australian who represents Singapore and comes out of Holland,
yes,
is going nicely at the moment. Why did he not have to? Did he not have to quarantine at all?
No, I think he's just come straight over from Amsterdam. I think. Well, Holland. Well,
halfway through a game. Halfway through a game in Holland.
Don't knock it. It happened in the county championship this week.
What?
For players getting called up for England halfway through a game. I didn't know what was going on Tuesday morning.
Oh, the Florence Nightingale.
Well, I saw
11.
I saw Will Jacks walking to the car park and thought, that's a strange warm-up. He's batting. He's 1 not out. Didn't see him again. It's Darren Stevens into the attack from the pavilion end to bowl the 12th over, and Rory Burns turns the first one from D. Stevens out into the leg side for a single. So D. Stevens has long off, long on for the right-handed David. Sweeper on the cover rope. 2 back on that leg side rope. Bell Drummond, the captain, goes to fine leg on the edge of the circle. Third man on the edge of the circle, the backward point and an extra cover for Darren Stevens. But those 2 men back on the leg side are miles away. As in over the wicket comes Darren Stevens, and David forward plays this one back up the pitch, and there's no run. But yet you could almost send an Uber for those 2 out there near the Peter May stand and the MAR Galladari. So they are miles away, because we are slap bang in the middle of the square over towards the gasometer side of the ground. As Darren Stevens over the wicket he comes to David, swings leg side. How much of this has he got?
It's past the Uber. It's gone over the Uber.
Wow, that's a strike, isn't it?
With one hand.
One-handed strike from David.
Just imagine 2.
It would have, if he'd used both hands, that'd be in Tesco's by now. Other supermarkets, of course, are available. But one-handed, that's a heck of a strike from David. That is the longest part of the ground, I think. And it's soared into the stand for 6. So David's on to 20, couple of 6s for him. Surrey just beginning to manoeuvre now, 59 for 3, Jeremy.
Yeah, well, they've got to be 60 plus at the end of this over, so that's about right. 3 balls remaining, 1.6. As far as as Stevens is concerned, he can't drag it down because David's now into the action, isn't he? He's seeing the ball a bit better. He's certainly timing that one.
Waits again, David. As over the wicket comes Stevens. This one he's swinging leg side again. Oh, what a catch at long on that is. That is an unbelievable catch from Cox. What a catch. Down there at long on, he sprinted in, flung himself forward and taken a brilliant catch. And David goes just as he was getting started, really. But that is a wonderful catch from Cox. Down there at long on, sprinting in. He hit it pretty flat, didn't get all of it, obviously.
No.
But that took some catching. And David goes for 20 and Surrey are 59 for 5.
Yeah, well, the batsman's end of that sort of transaction really was he had to fetch it just a little bit more. Stevens going wider, and so when he tried to sort of flat bat it, really just sort of to wide long on, he only ended it hitting straight and long on. Cox did a fantastic job. Running in, diving, always difficult to dive down and forwards. Got 2 hands to it as well, that made it safe. So David's innings, just a little cameo really, unfortunately for him and for Surrey. But he was starting to show his power from the few last balls that we saw. So Jordan Clark's going to be the new man in. Looks as if really Rory Burns is going to have to just knock it round and get the odd 4 as he goes along.
They did cross, so Burns is on strike. Stevens into him. Burns drives, thick edge. Oh, it's 2 in 2. What a catch that is as well. Diving away to his left. Fred Clarkson with his left hand takes a beauty. On the edge of the circle at third man. Stevens is on a hat trick. What a bit of fielding that is from Clarkson as well. Flung himself to his left. Obviously it's his stronger hand, but that's still a great catch. And Rory Burns goes for 19. And suddenly Surrey 2 in 2, and Darren Stevens is on a hat trick.
Yeah, just a little bit of movement away for Darren Stevens there. It goes from the middle of the bat where Burns was obviously aiming at, but it takes an outside middle and more to the edge, so it flew to that short third man. Really good moving for a tall man as well, and then to get down with one hand and take that. It's probably spinning quite a lot, so it might be curving in the air, wanting to go down and die. Well, 59 for 3 becomes 59 for 5.
I quite like the reaction of Jamie Overton when he's walked out there to Jordan Clark.
What's going on?
Big
here?
smile on his face. Evening, Jordan. Got a bit of a job on our hands here, because these two are obviously stroke makers by trade. So, Darren Stevens is on a hat-trick. Surely not. Surely not. He's done just about everything else over the last few years. Stevens then, over the wicket to Jamie Overton, and Overton very respectfully plays Darren Stevens out into the offside, but that's a pretty good over from D. Stevens. If you think one delivery was one-handed into the stand for 6, he's only gone for one more run in that over and picked up 2 wickets. 12 have gone, and Surrey are 59 for 5.
Don't know really what to say about this. I mean, 2 fantastic catches, just the value of fielding, I think, is the main component in that over. It wasn't as if they were from magical deliveries. Batsmen really trying to convert at this stage because they need to, and trying to make something in some cases out of nothing. But nevertheless, a flat batter right through to long on, going low always across the ground, makes it difficult to judge. And a terrific catch at long on, and then another catch next ball, diving away, this time Klaassen at short third. So just great fielding,
Brilliant.
isn't it?
Absolutely brilliant. Case Ahmad is in from the Vauxhall end to start our 13th over. Forward goes Jordan Clark, pushes this one out to extra cover. Well, of course, Cox a keeper by trade, but keepers are normally brilliant fielders as well, aren't they? I think Mr. Billings might be watching and listening in tonight, so he knows all about that, of course. As forward goes Jordan Clark, drives out towards the sweeper on the cover rope. There's Klaassen again, just a single for Jordan Clark. Surrey have got to just get something on the board.
Well, they haven't got much left really, have they, tonight?
Not really, and all I'm thinking is blueprint of the way that Kent have bowled. If they could nudge themselves up somewhere near 100, they'd have to bowl out their skins, as Case Ahmad is in, and a little paddle sweep from Jamie Overton. Get a single out there towards deep backward square. Still to come, Gus Atkinson, Connor McCurr, Gareth Batty and Dan Moriarty for Surrey.
Not a lot there, though.
Not a huge amount.
So these two, in other words, if there's going to be any chance of getting even to 120, which is not going to be easy, it has to be these two do the bulk of that scoring. I mean, and I don't think Surrey spinners, they're not leg spinners, wrist spinners, are they?
Left arm spinner.
Exactly, they're finger spinners.
Finger spinners, As forward goes the right-handed Clark, pushes this one into the leg side.
Therefore, unlikely to get that turn that we saw early on tonight, and a bit of turn also from Case Ahmad.
Well, we've been chatting turn all day with the championship game coming on Sunday, but we're already into spin territory as in comes Case Ahmad, and this one's drilled down the ground by Jordan Clark towards long on. There's Alex Blake to do the fielding. Throw comes in one bounce over the top of the stump, 62 for 5. So Surrey have had the first boundary came in the 10th over. That was 4 byes. Then 2 consecutive boundaries from Rory Burns. And then Mr. David hit 2 sixes. Those are our only boundaries. As forward goes Overton, plays this one down to backward point. Jordan Clark comes through for the single. Case Ahmad has got very tidy figures tonight. I think that's 4 overs, none for 22 for Case Ahmad. But I think, Jamie, it sounds a really odd thing to say. 13 overs gone, 7 left, 2 attacking batsmen out there. I think they've also got to sort of try and curb those attacking instincts for a while, and as you say, just knock it around.
Well, it's getting to the stage, though, we've got 7 overs, and they need, I think, absolute minimum, another 60. So that's 7 or 8 an over, isn't it, from here on in? 8 sevens, 56. So really, it's really 9s.
Darren Stevens, here goes Overton, down the ground, he's got all of this, Jamie Overton, and that's into the bottom tier of the pavilion. So first ball of the Darren Stevens over, Jamie Overton in his arc, swings that big bat of his, and that soars away for 6 over long on, and Jamie Overton moves on to 8, 69 for 5.
They need those, don't they? Badly. Anything just with a wee bit of room they can launch into from someone of Darren Stevens' pace and just use that shorter boundary that's straight. You don't want to be swinging it too wide in the arc, I don't think.
Absolutely fascinating game of T20 this at the moment. It really is. In its own way, strangest game of T20 at the moment. As Darren Stevens over the wicket to the right-handed Overton, a little tighter to him this time, and he tries the shot again, and it's down the ground towards long on. Cox does the fielding, and Jamie Overton moves on to 9. Surrey 70 for 5. Stevens 2 for 13, and he's in his second over. Well, 12 of those have come off 2 shots. Of that 14 now, 12 of those have come off 2 shots. As Stevens is in over the wicket to Jordan Clark. Jordan Clark nudges down the ground. They want 2 here. This is good running from Jordan Clark and Jamie Overton. It's very sensibly played. Just nudged it down the ground. Long way for Cox to come up. Jamie Overton, those long legs. As I always say, tall men tend to have long legs, which means they've got a bigger
either
stride.
that or a very long body. Which, that is. And a stomach that could hold lots.
Darren Stevens is in, and this is drilled by Overton, and Denley does the fielding in there at short extra cover. And there is no run.
What is the Axeman cometh going to do here with this delivery? Because he does. He uses the bat like that, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
Stevens says, look, if I get this right, it's honestly Sydney or the bush. He'll either hit me for 6 or I could have a wicket.
He's in again, Stevens, and this is nudged by Jordan Clark into the leg side. He's going to look for 2 again. Well played, Jordan Clark. Round comes Freddie Clarkson to do the fielding. 2 more to the total. Jordan Clark. At the moment, this is not Jordan Clark's natural game, but it's very sensible. He's on to 6. Surrey move on to 74 for 5. D. Stevens wandering back to the top of his mark from the pavilion end in this 14th over. Coming into the right-handed Jordan Clark, who's whipped this one down the ground towards Jordan Cox, and he'll just get a single this time. Overton's actually slipped over as he was turning for the second. Hope he's all right, Jamie Overton. He just slipped a touch as he was turning for the second, but he's slowly getting to his feet like a suspension bridge. 75 for 5, 14 gone, 6 left, Jeremy Coney.
Just what Surrey need, isn't it? A hamstring at this stage of the game. I can see Alex Stewart coming out with his pads on soon.
Well, I was wondering when we had the COVID second team England going, I did wonder whether Stewart might get a game, might get a call up.
Well, keeping.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But no, 75 for 5, 6 overs to go. 2 brilliant catches from Kent. Jordan Cox down at long on, and this gentleman, Mr. Clarkson, at short third man. And Clarkson's figures are fairly tidy at the moment. So Clarkson down below us, turns and comes left arm round the wicket to Jordan Clark, who slammed this one. That's a half volley, and that has been put away by Jordan Clark. Genuine loosener that, really, from Freddie Clarkson, and a long half volley, and Jordan Clark absolutely hammered that through the covers. He moves on to 11. Surrey move on to 79 for 5.
It shows you the width on the pitch like this allows the batsman to free his arm up. If he's anything like in, we saw David hit one for 6 straight down the ground from a similar delivery.
Clarkson round the wicket he comes again, well bowled right up on the toes of Jordan Clark, and Jordan Clark can't do anything with that, so that's very well bowled by Clarkson. A wild card as well. I think Mr. Clarkson's off to Manchester, is he not, for the 100? The Originals, indeed, yes. As well, they are. They haven't played before. As round the wicket once again comes Clarkson, and oh hello, Jordan Clark's just backed away and then dinked this up and over the top of Case Ahmad, and they'll go back for 3 here. There go the long legs of Jamie Overton, and they're through for 3. So good shot from Jordan Clark. He moves on to 14. 82 for 5, Surrey.
Yeah, those legs were pumping, weren't they? He's a large velocipede. Really, it looks like kind of some machinery that came from the north.
Can I be honest with you?
Woolen mills.
I thought Overton was a big lad until Jamieson arrived.
All right.
As round the wicket once again, comes Clarkson. This is pulled by Overton out towards deep mid-wicket. They'll pick up a single. One more to the total. Overton moves on to 10. 84 for 5.
Yeah, he's tall.
He's enormous.
Yep, Joel Garner height.
He's huge, Mr. Jameson. Great shame that he pulled a muscle in his buttock, poor chap, after 6 overs this week. As round the wicket once again comes Clarkson. This one's nudged into the leg side by Jordan Clark. They want 2 again, but Alex Blake is quickly up to do the fielding. And one more to the total, 84 for 5. Because I was told that Mr. Jameson had pulled a glute, but I had absolutely no idea where a glute was on your body until Matt Cole told me.
I wonder how you do
this
that.
Evening.
How on earth do you do that?
I don't. Well, he managed it somehow. I don't know how. It's around the wicket again comes Clarkson. Short. This is pulled like an exocet by Jamie Overton. Flat for 6. What a shot that is from Overton, because he's just stood on that front foot and swung it flat for 6. Jeremy Coney will bring back Matt Cole, but a final thought from you at this stage with 5 overs to go.
Well, just as they're showing the replay of that was a brutal sort of hit, wasn't it? 90 now, 90 for 5. So a recovery of sorts, should we say? From over 10, which is 42, to 90. So if they can repeat that, they're going to get to maybe 120 or maybe even further if these two can remain at the crease. Of course, it could all fall apart very quickly. Denley looks as if he's going to come in now. That's another challenge for these players. You can't just stand and deliver and hit medium pace. And also have to deal with the sort of the deception, if you like, of a leg spinner. So that's going to be another challenge for them. See if they can get close to the ball.
Well, here is Denley then from the pavilion end, and this is slammed by Jordan Clark down the ground. He'll pick up a single down there towards long off. One more to Jordan Clark. He moves on to 16. Jamie Overton comes back onto strike on 16. So yes, these two came together with the score on 59 in the 12th over. They've got it up to 91 in this 16th over now, as Denny's in again. Here goes Overton. He's got all of this. That is a gorgeous shot straight down the ground into the middle tier of the pavilion, and you knew the moment that left his bat that was 6 runs. And Jamie Overton's on to 22, and Surrey move on to 97 for 5.
Well, very good, because he did get close to it, and you've got to target those against the spinners, target the short boundaries. They happen to be straight, which is ideal because you use the full width of the bat. You've got your best chance, in other words, of making a good contact. So a little shimmy from the Axeman cometh, and he just whacked that straight back, made sure he got a good contact.
Ian Gould looks suitably unimpressed as always as he gives the ball back to Joe Denley after sanitising it, because it went into the crowd. Denley's in once again to Overton, and Overton looks to work leg side, little leading edge, well bowled Joe Denley. That rolls away out into the offside. They'll pick up a single. One more to the total. Overton moves on to 23. 98 for 5, Surrey.
Well, can Denley keep tossing it up in the air, or will he just drag it down a little bit?
Jordan Clark waits and then just nudges his leg side. This is good from Jordan Clark, because he'll look for 2 again here. It's very sensible stuff from Jordan Clark, because Jamie Overton's played a couple of big shots and Jordan Clark is just happy. Nudge leg side, come back for 2, and the 100 comes up for Surrey, which seemed a long way off. In the 9th over, Surrey were on 28, and they've got themselves up to 100 in the 16th over. As Denley's in once again. Here goes Jordan Clark. Is he gone stumped? Now Robinson's whipped off the bails, but umpire Lungley shakes his head. So he got his back foot somehow back into the crease there, did Jordan Clark. For all the world it looked like he was gone. But nice bit of bowling from Joe Denley again.
It was just a tempter, wasn't it? Nice little arc of temptation from the bowler.
In again he comes, and this one's turned leg side again. They'll want 2, and they'll get 2, and it's good running again, because Denley's had to go all the way across the field off his own bowling. End of the over, 102 for 5. Jeremy Coney, thank you, sir. We'll bring back Matt Cole for these final 4 overs.
All the lights in the broadcasting place have gone on. Bring back Matt. Get him back.
Well, there's a petition started already around the Ashford area to bring back Matt Cole. So there he is, away to our right hand side. And now I think we push that button. Yeah, there we are. doing a bit of de-rigging here. Live de-rigging on BBC Radio Kent and BBC Radio London. 16 gone, 4 left. Surrey 12 off that over. 102 for 5. And this is fascinating stuff. It's a strange game, but it's fascinating stuff. Adam Milne comes into the attack down below us from the Vauxhall end. Welcome back to Matt Cole as Milne turns down below us and will come over the wicket. No, he won't, because Jamie Overton's got a bit of movement behind the arm. But fascinating game
here. I was thinking more the draw on the national grid as everyone goes to make a cup of tea as Jeremy Coney comes off the mic.
Yeah, there is that as well. There is that.
Yeah.
I think much the same myself. Oh boy,
I'm under no illusions. What a game this is, though.
Well, Surrey have got their run rate up to 6.38 when it was 3.
I'm not sure to make of this game at all. To be
no,
honest.
I'm not at the moment. I actually think 120 might not be a bad score here. As Milne over the wicket he comes, and he'll try again, full toss, and Jamie Overton trying to absolutely larrup that, and was through it very, very early and plays it straight back up the pitch. So nicely bowled by Milne. The slow full toss in T20 cricket can be one of the deadliest deliveries out there.
Yeah, 1 for 6 off 2 overs. Admittedly, that was right at the top where no one was timing the ball at all, were they? But
how about the fielding, Mr. Cole? Those 2 catches, outstanding.
Yeah.
2 in 2 off Darren Stevens. As over the wicket goes Milne, and this is driven by Overton out towards the sweeper on the cover rope. Just a single as the throw comes in, 1 bounce.
It was a bit like a contest, wasn't it? Because Jordan Cox's catch was so good running in from the boundary, diving and taking that. And then I honestly thought, from our perspective, the ball was past Clarkson. I thought it was going for 4 when he took it. So yeah, and you have to say, Kent, their fielding has been absolutely superb throughout this.
Yeah, terrific
this South
stuff.
group so far.
Well, I was saying about Jamie Overton, tall men, long legs. Clarkson, tall men, long arms. As over the wicket once again comes Milne, and that's a slower ball. Jordan Clark looking to slap that one through the offside.
I'm just worried where we're going next, Jeremy, to be honest.
Big shoes. As that's taken by keeper Robinson, moving away to his right hand side. But on a serious point there,
yeah,
I don't think anybody else in the Kent side, he's the tallest out there, Clarkson, would have got anywhere near it. But he stuck out his strongest hand, of course, and in it went. Brilliant catch as over the wicket once more comes Milne. Oh, dancing feet of Jordan Clark. That's brilliant, because he's jumped across the crease for the paddle and it's hit the toe end of his bat for a single into the leg side. I don't think he could do that again if he tried. He's calling for some chalk for the end of his cue now, is Jordan Clark. But he jumped across the stumps. He was looking for the little paddle, and it literally hit the toe end of his bat, and he's got a single.
There are easy ways of pushing it to square leg for 1, I think it's fair to say, but it tends all round for style.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, I'm not sure he could do that again if he really put his mind to it. 104 for 5. This is a strange old game, but in its own way, fascinating at the moment. Milne runs away from us, comes over the wicket to Jamie Overton, and Overton slings this full toss high in the air. Now Baldrummond's coming round, Denley's coming round, and Baldrummond, good decision, leaves it for Denley. Now Jamie Overton's asking the question, was it above waist high? Umpire Gould shakes his head and says no, and Jamie Overton will have to go for 23. 104 for 6. Baldrummond and Denley did a pretty good job there, because for one horrible second I thought they were going to run into each other, and ever since I saw Rory Burns and Moses Enriques do that at Arundel, it always makes me go cold for a second. But Joe Denley taking that catch very safely, and Overton goes for 23.
Yeah, I had exactly the same feelings. I saw them coming towards each other, but you're right, Denley did, Baldrummond did very well to pull out at the right time. Denley's obviously given it a big call as well, and again safe hands from what was swirling in the air there. Great partnership for Surrey though. That's a real rebuild, isn't it? Was that 52 between those two? Which is quite something considering what we were going at. Yeah, Surrey were 28 for 3 off 9. They're now 104 for 6, albeit 1 ball shy of the 17th.
And Gus Atkinson is out there. They cross, so Jordan Clark is on strike. Milne's into him, and Clark off the back foot cuts this one away out towards sweeper on the cover boundary rope. They'll pick up another single, 1 more to the total, but a very good over from Adam Milne. The wicket of Jamie Overton, But a good innings that from Jamie Overton, the 23 in the context, but just 3 off the Milne over. And Milne, well, he's got very nice figures so far this evening. And Surrey 3 to go, Matt Cole, here on BBC Radio Kent, BBC Radio London, 105 for 6.
Well, Adam Milne is only here at Kent, with Kent, because Mohammad Amir went to the Pakistan Super League after that was postponed or played in 2 halves, as it were. But I don't think many Kent fans were upset when they saw that Adam Milne was re-signing for them for his 4th spell. He's been absolutely brilliant, the Kiwi. Really impressive bowling, both ends as well. Bowls first and last. Matt Milnes is coming back. His figures haven't been bad tonight either, have they? I'll just check.
1 for 4 off 2, Matt Milnes at the moment.
Not terrible. But he comes down from the pavilion end now, then to bowl to Clark's long handle, but it's the slower ball, and it bounces apologetically through to Ollie Robinson. Massive swing, almost took the shoulders out of the sockets there, did Jordan Clark, swinging for square leg.
Ollie Stedman's been in touch. Good evening, Ollie.
Evening, Ollie.
Nice to have you with us, sir. He says Tim David played for South Shields Cricket Club up north, of course. The same season we had Jeremy Coney as our Sportsman's Dinner guest speaker. So there we are.
Come on.
There we are.
This is Milnes again. Oh, he's picked that one. It's going to be 6. That one he has middled with the broad shoulders. Jordan Clark over mid-wicket. Picked that one out. 10 rows back. Oh no, it's gone down the aisle.
It has.
Are they called vomitories? Is that right? I think those little, the little channels where you go down the steps.
Are they?
I kid you not.
Wow. Interestingly and ironically, towards the bar.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Yes. So, and that's where that ball's gone as well.
I can look this up now.
Straight
I've
towards
said something completely out of character.
A vomitorium. Is there actually?
No, vomitories.
Vomitories.
Yeah.
And there's a vomitorium.
There where you go down, there's a little concrete.
I never knew that.
There we go. A passage that allows people to enter or leave an auditorium or stadium. There we go.
I never knew that. That's well done, Mr. Cole.
Every day's a learning day.
Well, it went down that passage, didn't it? A rate of knots.
And your gluteus maximi earlier.
You know a lot about a lot of things.
I don't have much, but you know. I give the dictionary a bit of a read.
Useless information.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Top of your game.
Nothing pertinent to the game. 111 for 6 it is after that massive 6 has gone. Well, out onto the road beyond.
Well, I think it's gone down the vomitorium or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
thank you. Down the steps.
I don't know what a vomitorium is. That doesn't sound good, does it?
Down the steps and out behind the MAR Galadari stand.
Yeah.
So somebody somewhere has found our ball, but we're going to have to. They've gone home with it, I think. So we've got another ball out there in the middle now. But I tell you what, he didn't half get hold of that, Jordan Clark. That is a massive shot.
I was complimenting Matt Milnes for the ball which he took all the pace off, and Clark's huge swipe at it and miss, but that one, compliment the batsman because he's completely creamed that. Clark now faces on 28 not out. He gets that one over the infield. It's going to go for 4. It's I won't say it's an edge, but he's mowed it above the head of Daniel Bell-Drummond at third man. Fortune favouring him, and it's worth going for that, isn't it? I suppose it's thick on the outside of the bat over third man, and that's 4 runs. So runs coming now, 115 for 6. Really important for Surrey to fight back. Kent did such an amazing job. 28 for 3. Can Surrey recover to put a meaningful total on the board? To be honest, this pitch, who knows? It could go very quiet for Kent as Surrey bowl. As outside the off stump, it's a lovely delivery from Milnes. Full length, wide. He's just bending the knees and trying to get a cut on that. Couldn't hit it. Jordan Clark, good recovery from Milnes.
All I would say is, Surrey know the blueprint here anyway. They've seen the way Kent have done it in this first innings. This is a little gem of an innings from Jordan Clark. 32 off 23 deliveries in the context of what we've seen. And in footballing terms, this really has been a game of 2 halves so far.
Yes, indeed. Clark doing all the scoring. Bouncer, slow ball bouncer. That is an excellent delivery. It gets a little applause from Mark Church, because that's ballooned up at no pace whatsoever. Clark has no idea what to do with it, and it's bounced once again twice through to Ollie Robinson. Good.
It's also the direction of that slower ball bouncer as well,
it's
because there's nothing you can do with that really. Can't really sway out the way and try and dink it. So Mr. Coney's playing a forearm smash Am I right? I reckon that's about right.
It says not enough pace on it to do anything with it. This one's in a block hole and it's cut out towards the offside boundary. Leaning fields, 116 for 6 then at the end of the over. 18 gone. 116 for 6. They need, well, Jeremy Coney was saying, look, put 140 on the board, you got yourself a game. I think you might be right. Perhaps even 130 is going to be enough. We've seen games like that plenty of times with the T20 Blast over the years. But this could be a bit of a squeaker, it feels like to me, unless Kent get off to a flyer. If it's similar happens to them and Surrey bowl well like Kent did in the power play, this could be interesting.
Well, last over from this Vauxhall then, the 19th, and it's going to be Adam Milne with figures of 2 for 9. Coming in over the wickets, Jordan Clark drives him down the ground, swings long off to his left Cox, and they'll come back for 2. So 2 more to the total. Gus Atkinson's yet to face a ball, actually, since he's got out there.
He's run well.
Well, he may as well have left his pads and bat in the dressing room, really, while 18 for 6. That I always remember that with Mark Wood in the final, where apparently when he walked out the bat, Ben Stokes looked at him and said, "What have you got all your stuff on for? All you're going to do is run." As over the wicket once more comes Milne, and well bowled, slower ball outside that off stump, and Jordan Clark's waited, and then flung the bat at it, got nothing on it at all, and taken by Robinson, moving away to his right hand side. 118 for 6 Surrey, 10 balls to go of their innings. Jordan Clark 35 not out from 27 deliveries, 2 4s and 1 6. Gus Atkinson yet to face a ball. Milne over the wicket, right arm over to Jordan Clark again, all the pace off it, and Jordan Clark slaps this straight to Joe Denley on the edge of the circle, and they'll pick up a single, and that will bring Gus Atkinson on to strike. Clark 36, sorry, 119 for 6.
Adam Milne's going to be playing 100 cricket as well for Birmingham Phoenix.
Yeah, marvellous.
He came in as a replacement for Shaheen Afridi.
Right, like for like. 119 for 6. And Gus Atkinson on to strike for the first time here to Adam Milne, as over the wicket comes Milne to Atkinson, the right-handed bouncer. Atkinson ducks underneath it. That must have been tight, actually, down the leg side, but umpire Lungley says no, that's okay. And taken by Robinson as a flying seagull goes across in front of the commentary box window.
They did quite a lot of that.
Absolutely, yeah. So down comes long off and long on. Up comes third man.
Jeremy Coney's calling the slower ball.
Well, absolutely, with this field. As in over the wicket he comes, goes slower ball wide outside the off stump, but actually signal wide this time, because Gus Atkinson's done quite well there, because he's made it look as if he was about to fall over because he was having to reach for it so far. But of course you do have the tram lines now.
I think Adam Milne's saying, hasn't he come outside the off stump up?
120 for 6.
Feels like a bit of a bargaining between the bowler and the umpire there.
It's not going to change
Just
his
keep an eye
mind.
on him.
Yeah,
he knows a bit about this game, Adam Milne, doesn't he? He wants to put it in the umpire's mind.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, he stepped across the stumps there,
As Milne over the wicket he comes again to the right-handed Atkinson, bowled right up there in the block hole. And this is exactly what Kent did to Surrey in that run chase at Canterbury. Just kept bowling Yorkers. 120 for 6. Milne, of course, took his hat-trick. Deep mid-wicket, long off, but it was still a hat-trick. And they all count. 120 for 6. No, he's bowled beautifully again tonight. 2 for 13. And this is his final delivery. Can Gus Atkinson find the boundary? Milne comes over the wicket to Atkinson. Well bowled, right up there. Dipping on him full toss. It's hit him on the knee, I think, and rolled away into the leg side. But yeah, Gus Atkinson there was thinking full toss, and then it dipped on him and hit him on the inside part of his knee. So Gus Atkinson has virtually kicked that for a single, and well bowled Adam Milne. Great figures tonight from Adam Milne, and it'll be Milne's, I think, to bowl our final over. And sorry, one Clarkson, apologies. Clarkson to bowl our final over, 121 for 6.
Yeah, Clarkson, who started this series before Milne arrived as their premium death bowler. It definitely works. Yeah. I mean, you've got every reason to think it's Matt Milnes, as a picture of Matt Milnes has appeared on the... Or perhaps they're just telling us that
he's bowled well.
Matt Milnes has bowled 3 overs and quite well.
Maybe they feel he should be bowling the last over, but because he isn't, they've put his figures up.
Everyone's
for everyone.
a critic. Around the wicket, the left armour to Atkinson. Pulls away low towards the onside boundary. They're coming back for 2. The arm of Blake there. They've done well. Blake's quick across the ground. Good throw as well. But Clark backed up well there, didn't he? And Atkinson comes through for 2.
What you
Ideally, want Jordan Clark on strike here.
What you would say at the moment is they've got a serviceable total.
I would. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Clarkson goes very wide this time to Atkinson, swing and a miss. They're going to come through for a bye, throw at the stumps by. Robinson is a mile away. I think he's laughing. He's looked at Darren Stevens, who is taking the mickey, I think it's fair to say, out of that throw. They came through for a bye.
It's not easy to throw that ball with your glove on if you're the keeper.
No, he didn't have time to take it off, to
not
be fair.
really, no. So it's not straightforward, that. That could have gone horribly wrong.
It was a bit more like a shot put than a throw, that wasn't it, with the gloves on. Clarkson then to Clark, wraps him on the pad, but it's going to skew out onto the offside. Leg stump Yorker.
It's good stuff from Clarkson again, isn't it?
Leg by. So he hasn't conceded a run off the bat in 2 balls.
Terrific stuff from him.
Have they?
And well, that was a leg by.
Yeah, I thought the first one was a... I'm a little confused. Oh, sorry, Atkinson scored 2 off the first ball, didn't he? Yeah. But that was signal leg by. Anyway, here's Clarkson to Atkinson, up in the air, but safe. 1 bounce out to Ahmad on the long off boundary. They'll come through for a single. He's made room there, flat batted it out. A couple of bounces to Ahmad on the long off boundary. 126 for 6.
2 balls to go, 5 runs off the over. So really good from Clarkson. Yeah. Can Jordan Clark find a boundary off these final 2 balls?
Finds 2 here. Let's say this is a very competitive total. Down the leg side, it's definitely a wide. It was wide and it was grubbing. It wasn't bouncing, was it?
Well, it's going to be a fascinating run chase for Kent.
As you say, I think this is a total they can bowl at on this pitch.
Without a doubt. And Surrey have the blueprint because they've done it before. And it will be interesting about how Kent go about the chase as well.
So Clarkson. 2 legitimate deliveries left down the leg side. That's a great delivery. It's outside the leg stump, but Clark's backed away. It's gone between bat and pad, I think. At pace, full length through to the wicketkeeper, no run.
Really good skill from Clarkson.
You can see why he's been picked up for one of those 100 franchises, can't you?
Absolutely.
I think he's just improved this summer as well. He played internationals against Ireland for the Netherlands just before this blast happened. I think that's really helped him too. Has sharpened him up. Cut away by Clark. Well, they come back for 2, a sacrifice run. They do. Well, Atkinson thought about it and he's now been run out, so Clark wasn't going anywhere. A 36 for Jordan Clark could be a very, very important knock from him. And Surrey finish 128 for 6. Yeah, they ran 1, didn't they, with the run out. So 128 for 6 from their 20 overs. 129 to win for Kent then. What a strange old innings that was. The story of it. Surrey 28 for 3 through 9 overs. Quite astonishing. The lowest total I think I've ever seen through a power play. 17 for 3, and certainly through 9 overs, 28 for 3. Absolutely crawling along what looked like a sticky surface. Pace off the ball was working. Milne was doing it expertly at the top as well. That the quick bowler. Smith gone for 1, Geddes for 8, Evans for 6. Then Davey came in. Gave it a bit of a bash for Surrey, but huge 6s off the Kent bowlers. Stevens got him for 20. Jordan Cox a running diving catch at long on, and then Fred Clarkson, not to be outdone, stretching at third man, somehow clutched the ball.
So Surrey 128 for 7 off their 20 overs. Quins boys are back with me, Aaron Morris. And we've also got Mark Lambert and James Chisholm in the centre. And guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Although I have to say, first 9 overs, Mark, was a fairly tough watch. I'm not going to lie. We were 28 for 3 off 9 overs. That's not standard T20 cricket, is it?
Yeah, it was looking bleak. It was looking bleak for a little while, and then we sort of stabilised a little bit, and then the hitting from Overton and Clark at the end kind of got us to just about competitive, hopefully over 120. At least you're in it, so yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Everyone was saying, you could hear them on commentary, Mark Church and Matt Cole saying that Hashim Amla in the county championship game against Hampshire, having to bat out the final day, everyone was channeling their inner Hashim Amla because they weren't trying to score runs. Now, it was a very difficult pitch to bat on, and also Kent bowled fantastically, especially in the power play and just after that. So 1, 2, 8 to defend. What do you reckon? Have we got enough to bowl at there? I mean, is there a chance that Surrey can get this victory that will keep them in contention?
I mean, early wickets, right? We need some early wickets. Try and get the run rate going up a bit if it's possible, and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, you'd rather have 20 or 30 more, but it's better than what it was looking like. It looked like it was going to be 70 or 80. So. Yeah.
Now, guys, you can probably hear the noise behind us. Just look over behind your right shoulder. This is the Kia High catch. Now listen, Aaron, I'm not going to ask you to have a go at this because you've only got one hand to catch with, but this is a small, fluffy, yellow thing as opposed to a large oval thing. Obviously, for regulars at the Kia Oval, you'll know this is where a tennis ball gets catapulted into the sky, and a member of the public who may or may not be oiled up has to try and catch as many of the 5 that are sent his or her way, and you get to win Surrey merchandise and prizes for the more tennis balls you catch. Fancy having a go at that next time you're back at the Kia Oval, James? You know, we'll stick you out there.
I think I'd be
maybe a capacity crowd for you though, not just 5,000, maybe 25,000.
I think I'd be pretty useless at that. There's not a big bloke in front of me, I've got no chance.
No, it's good fun, and you can hear the crowd really getting into it, and yeah, you get some comedy attempts, and you also get those club cricketers who find it very, very easy indeed. But it's a bit of a breeze here at the Kia Oval, so it might not be all that simple. Guys, let's talk about atmospheres, because yeah, I mean, we were talking about the Premiership final at Twickenham, and you only had, was it 10,000 that were in for that one, James? But I mean, did it feel like more because people were just so desperate to be at a sporting event? And actually, yeah, it might have only been a fraction of the full capacity, but they wanted to make the most of the opportunity.
Yeah, I think the last couple of games we had with crowds was just amazing, and to go to Twickenham 10,000, it was like it was full. It was, like you said, it was absolutely incredible. People were so kind of hungry for sport and Premiership final, so it was incredible.
Aaron, what's the best atmosphere that you've witnessed, either as a player or as a fan? Give me an event or a stadium. What's been the best one? It could have been at the Stoop, it could have been in a big final.
I think we always get a really good atmosphere at big game. I think football atmospheres are a little bit different. I remember I went to a League Cup final, and I'm quite a hard Liverpool fan, as you can tell by my Scouse accent.
Yeah.
And I got given the tickets kindly, and I ended up in the Man City end.
Oh, okay.
And for
you have to sit on your hands for the entire 90 minutes.
Up to kick-off, I was saying, well, I'm going to cheer if I cheer.
Yeah.
If my team score,
then
I did not cheer.
Right.
But being in that atmosphere in a football game in a big final was great.
But look, I mean, Mark, we've seen it at Wembley over the course of the Euros, right? They started off with 22,500 during the group stage, and then in quarter-finals that wraps up 45,000, 60,000. Actually feels that Wembley has an atmosphere. You would never have said that before, even when it's got 90,000 in for like a friendly or something, and now people just are chomping at the bit to get back to see live sport, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, as Aaron just said, I mean, football at the moment's different level. The joy. I mean, it was feral, wasn't it? It was feral at Wembley. Like, people were just losing their minds before kick-off. Sweet Caroline was going. Even Gary Neville and Rio Ferdinand and Ian Wright were joining in and singing as well. Like, yeah, people are just desperate for it, and obviously with England and their progression at the moment, it's just been unbelievable.
It's been so nice. I've been very, very fortunate with Sky Sports. We've got our studio overlooking Wembley with the arch in the background, and people are shouting down from below. You know, we have guests in like David Seaman or whoever it might well be, and they're all part of it, and we love just looking down and just chatting with them, and you just really find that kind of that real sort of that proper togetherness feeling, and it's really brought together a nation. You mentioned Sweet Caroline though, and this for me is the biggest question of the show so far, guys. What is the best in-stadium England fan sung anthem? Okay, so we're not talking about like just something you hear at a stadium. This is something that you belt out from the bottom of your lungs, from the diaphragm. Okay, so I'm going to give you some options here. let's say football's coming home because everyone's singing it at the moment. Rugby anthem, obviously, it's got to be Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, right, for England rugby. And for cricket, I mean, it's Jerusalem, really, the England cricket anthem. So come on then, what are you going to go for?
Or the Jimmy Anderson one. That goes off. That goes off.
What do you reckon?
It's coming home, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it has to be. At the moment, especially, yeah.
That, or Don't Take Me Home, we were saying earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And that has got multiple purposes.
But they've kind of nicked Sweet Caroline, haven't they? Because it's really a cricket anthem. I've heard it mostly at cricket grounds, and then suddenly everyone's like, Sweet Caroline, you know.
It gives you everything you need. It doesn't matter what sport it is. You can sing it anywhere, and you just go for it. Yeah.
And what about, because obviously we're talking about England football, and it's great that finally we have an England football team who are doing well. Semi-finalists of the World Cup 3 years ago, finalists, runners-up at worst, winners at best on Sunday night. What does that mean to you guys as fellow elite athletes? You know what it takes to play in the biggest of games. Premiership title, winners yourselves. What will those guys be feeling heading into this game on Sunday night? I mean, just the nerves, the pressure, all that kind of thing. I mean, it's something that's so unique, isn't it? It's such a special feeling, Aaron.
Yeah, I think it would almost be wrong of us to comment on it, because as big as those occasions that we get lucky enough to be involved in are, it's like transcendent, isn't it? England football. And I think Gareth Southgate spoke about how these moments kind of burn into the public consciousness, and to have the pressure that these lads do on Sunday, I can't really imagine it. But
where are you guys going to be watching the game?
Some pub somewhere, I think.
Yeah. Don't care where, don't care with whom, just want a good atmosphere, basically.
Wherever it takes us, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, are you guys properly into your football as well? You're general fans, or is it something that you've been swept up with over the course of the tournament, James?
To be honest, I'm very much a fair weather supporter in terms of football.
That's fair enough. There's plenty of them.
The World Cup I absolutely loved 3 years ago. I was all for it. And the Euros is the same. I've watched every game. I usually get stuck watching Liverpool with Aaron, one of my brothers. But it's just amazing. Like Aaron said, we are all very jealous as rugby players.
Okay.
The experiences they have, it's just you can't compare it.
So what we're going for the chant? We're going Sweet Caroline. Is that the one that we think is the best? I mean, it's not really an England fan chant. It's just now it's just a chant that they've nicked from the cricket and they're singing at the football. Is that the biggest one? Is that the one that gets everyone going?
I think at the moment it is, isn't it?
Even though no one actually knows the words apart from the
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying it's on the kitten, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean that is my favourite, and they re-recorded it.
They did. Yeah.
Amazing from them.
Southgate,
and
you're the one.
Laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're a real football fan, yes, of course, you're going to say World in Motion from 1990, and even older fans will say Back Home, which is from the 70s with Jeff Astle and stuff. Now then, one final question before we see Surrey try and defend 128. Quite simply, is it coming home?
I think almost definitely, yeah.
Almost definitely. 70% chance. No, what do you think it is, yeah? You're quite confident?
Yeah, I actually do. I think there's something special about the summer and what Southgate's done in terms of uniting a nation behind a team, and the lads have done so well. So yeah, I'll be excited, and I reckon they'll do it.
James, Mark, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think the exact same. I'm all for it. I'm there.
Taking on Italy, who haven't lost in 33 games. I mean, it's not easy. You still think just the occasion, the moment. We've been waiting for this.
It's going to be tough, and it's going to be like I just think it might end on penalties, which will just be.
Oh my goodness!
I think there'd just be heart attacks.
Oh God!
Yeah, it's coming home.
It's going to be a long old 48 hours between now and then before we get to the final whistle game. Listen, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. We'll see you again at the end of the game, however it finishes. Aaron, James, Mark, really appreciate it. Surrey trying to defend 128. Back to the commentary team of Matt Cole and Mark Church.
Turns, he is with us Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
There you go. Kent fans perhaps in the breaks, a tea break,
the interval maybe.
Catch them at the end.
What we'll do is we'll stay on in our breaks.
I don't need to be selfish. Probably best. Who have we got from the far end?
Moriarty, left arm spin.
So left arm around the wicket. Gunnagull's not ready. Where's he looking?
Who knows?
He's staring off into the distance. He's not looking at the square leg umpire.
He's probably chatting with Bell Drummond, to be honest.
Oh, he could be. Ian Daniel just having a bit of a chat.
Deep conversation. I think he's. What's he waiting for here?
No idea.
He's about to fall over.
Yeah,
if he's not
he's
careful.
toppling. He's waving as if it's a free hit, which it's not.
Yep, no, scorers.
Scorers are alerted.
Yep.
129 to win. start of the Kent innings then. Moriarty to Bell-Drummond, swing and a miss.
Well, I think that sort of answers our question of how Kent might go about this power play.
I think that's fair to say. No Zach Crawley, so it's Denley opening with Bell-Drummond, but they've put together a number of very big partnerships, these two. They held the Kent record, a double century partnership for the opening stand. It ain't going to be that kind of day, because they don't need that, but defended into the offside more circumspectly by Joe Denley on the second attempt. There is a slip in. Rory Burns, boundary fielders, deep mid-wicket, long off. Moriarty skipping a jump into his bowling action, driven by Denley up to long off, and there's a single. What Kent do have to their advantage, I mean Surrey have to bowl very well, is they know they don't have to panic if they get through 6 and they've got 30-40 on the board.
And the other thing that's become more and more part of T20 is now teams like to have a target. They love to have a target.
Bell-Drummond then, he's had a good summer in the blast, defends, dot ball. And Laurie Evans applauding that delivery from Moriarty, full length. So I wonder if they may just, this pair, think we can stay in for 3-4 overs, even we're just patting it around. Bell-Drummond once again, good full length delivery from Moriarty, defended by Bell-Drummond. Does this take you back to the Championship? It does a bit for me.
I've had a great week.
It's been,
I really have.
I really enjoyed it at Old Trafford as well.
It's been brilliant.
Saw a lot of rain, but the final day was absolutely amazing. Moriarty again, full length delivery, run up into the vacant mid-on. Denley running hard for the second. This is going to be close, but makes it. Well run, Joe Denley. Very aggressive. Knew he was running to the danger end. Fielder comes in from long on. Shies at the stumps, but they take 2 from that. Compliments to Mr. Denley for his running. 3 for none, though. Fairly modest. Oh, sorry, already ahead.
Great bit of running that from Joe Denley. Yeah. Really good running. Yeah, so Surrey after the first over were 4 for none. Yeah. So Surrey are ahead, as Mr. Cole said. It's going to be Gus Atkinson. No, this week's been amazing. Hashim Amla has gone into the top 3 days of my life. Number 1, my Isabel being born. Number 2, Johnny Wilkinson's drop goal 2003 to win the World Cup final. Number 3, Hashim Amla's 37 not out from 278 deliveries. One of the best days of my life, genuinely. As Gus Atkinson down below us from the Vauxhall end. Started the second over, he's got a slip in there. Denley's on strike, Atkinson is in, Denley swinging a miss. So Joe Denley threw that so early. He's trying to put that into the JM Fin stand, which we're sat in, and then he rehearses a lovely sort of inside out drive over extra cover. So Gus Atkinson, dot ball up first. So at the moment Joe Denley hasn't quite found his angles, as Atkinson right arm over the wicket he comes, Denley drives, thick inside edge up towards Gareth Batty at mid on, throw comes in and they pick up a single, and Denley moves on to 2. Kent move on to 4 without loss. But Mr. Coney,
he's making us drinks.
This is ridiculous now. Well, do you know what I was saying? Birth of my daughter Isabel, Johnny Wilkins drop goal, Hashim Amla's innings, top 3 days of my life. Jeremy Coney making me a cup of tea might have just snuck in at 3 there, I think, as Gus Atkinson comes over the wicket to Daniel Bell-Drummond, well bowled, right up there. Bell-Drummond's trying to work that one down the ground, thick outside edge, rolls up towards mid-off, and there's no run.
I think of poor Isabel listening at home thinking, wait a minute, Coney's creeping up the order here. How long am I going to stay at number 1?
Well, poor Isabel is going to be made to sit through this entire broadcast as Gus Atkinson turns down below us once again, comes in over the wicket to Bell-Drummond, and Bell-Drummond drives straight back up the pitch, and Gus Atkinson does the fielding off his own bowling. Good over this from Gus Atkinson, just a single off it. 4 balls gone.
You're right, Mr. Billings is listening.
Good,
Sam
excellent.
Billings.
Hello, Mr. Billings.
Talking about a tweet from earlier, which I missed. Sam, apologies for that, about those 2 catches. Unbelievable, he says, from both of them.
Good to have Mr. Billings listening in. I think S. Curran will be listening as well somewhere. As in over the wicket again comes Atkinson, shot from Bell-Drummond, just stands up straight, whips this one leg side. Oh, Jamie Overton slipped over. He's done that a few times this evening. He fell over when he was batting as well. Jamie Overton, he's having a look at the turf, but he's back up on his feet. 6 without loss. Bal Drummond on to 4.
Major Percy Flage went called Super Kent for nothing, he says. That was after those catches as well. So apologies, catching up on the tweets.
Major Percy Flage.
Flage, yeah. Martin from Tunbridge saying, all due respect. Well, people say that, all due respect to the commentators, but what a pleasure to have Jeremy Coney. I feel like it's, it feels a little bit backhanded, but we know our place also.
I'm living in Tunbridge now, that might count for. As in over the wicket comes Gus Atkinson, and this was whipped down the ground by Bal Drummond. Oh, and the dive from Gareth Batty, mistimed, and that's going to run away for 4 down to long on. It's a proper cricket shot from Daniel Bal Drummond. Gareth Batty trying to get across to that, past him with the dive and away for 4. So lovely shot from Daniel Bal Drummond. 2 overs gone. Kent 10 without loss. Here on BBC Radio Kent, BBC Radio London and the Surrey live stream, chasing 129 for victory.
Yeah, shots from Danny Bal Drummond there. He doesn't. I'm thinking that shot through mid-wicket, plays that so often. T20, he needs almost no width at all to play that through mid-wicket. It's all hands, isn't it? He's not moving his feet. His hands are so quick. And he can engineer it out there. Moriarty to continue then. 2 over the spin from him. Drive from Denley. Just at the non-striker's end there, it deflected off Moriarty's hands, and Bal Drummond was out of his crease, but past the stumps at the far end.
Really well bowled by Dan Moriarty. Yeah. Saw him coming, and it's right on his toes.
And he's a formidable figure when he goes forward. That's a lovely shot. Made himself room and has cut that away. For 4 runs. Punch the gloves with Daniel Bal Drummond. That's just a lovely shot, as you say. Then he swung and missed a couple of times, which has looked pretty ugly, but on that occasion he's just backed away, whipped his hands through that 4-run square.
Bit short from Moriarty, but still put away beautifully by Joe Denley.
Moriarty once more, fuller length delivery, that's checked up towards about long off, 1 bounce. Denley's almost marooned. It's going to be a single. Well, Bal Drummond, as Denley was watching what was happening to that ball, had backed up and was basically breathing down Joe Denley's neck when Denley was still in his crease. Joe Denley ran like Usain Bolt to the far end and got himself a single. That was a lot of drama. This is Bal Drummond just pushing the ball into the onside, again just flicking it, wrists over the ball, through into the onside. Single taken, 16 for none.
Yeah, they almost
almost made a drama out of that.
Had a chat, didn't they, at the same end, and then Joe Denley set off for a single.
I think Daniel Bal Drummond was saying very politely, it's probably time to run now, Joe. A little bit inside edge on this one, hasn't got all of it. Moriarty head in hands. Could easily have squeezed under the toe end of the bat, but goes out towards mid-wicket, single taken.
It's a good bit of bowling again from Moriarty.
He's chased him, isn't he? Made that really hard.
Absolutely, and it's what Jeremy Coney was saying, absolutely no room there for Denley.
So Moriarty round the wicket now to Bal Drummond, just stabs that down to backward point. Clark fields again. Denley is backing up too far, but that's a wild throw from Clark. Denley was back in his ground, I think, before Clark threw it, and there were a little bit of shrugs from Moriarty at the far end, saying, why have you let that go? Single overthrow. It's a tight game. 18 for none.
Well, that's why I'm a big fan of Dan Moriarty.
Dan Moriarty.
Because he's
Dean Moriarty.
Dean Moriarty.
Was he? Is that from On the Road by Jack Kerouac? Is he? No, sorry.
I've completely.
Is Dean Moriarty in that? I beg your pardon. Sorry, I've gone way off there.
You have.
Mike's
Are you talking music?
No, sorry.
Oh, right.
Novel.
Oh, it's a book, is it? Oh dear. I don't know what's going on. You've ruined Gladiator for me this evening with your vomitoriums. So
let's keep quiet.
Jordan Clark down below us.
I should try and make up for getting the cricketer's name wrong, should I really?
I just like the aggression of Moriarty.
Yeah, sorry.
4th over, Jordan Clark coming into the attack over the wicket to Bal Drummond. He's on a length straight away. This one's pushed to backward point, and Laurie Evans does the fielding down there at backward point, and there is no run.
Because I said it the other day, and I suddenly thought I didn't check. Why is Dean Moriarty in my there it is.
Well, you've You've had an entire conversation with yourself.
I have,
Mr.
Jack
Cole,
Kerouac, beat poet.
I'm glad,
on the
though.
road.
I'm glad you've answered
There we
it.
go.
That's where Dean Moriarty is.
Is the central figure.
Dan Moriarty is still out there, stood at a surefire leg. As in over the wicket comes Jordan Clark. Short ball, and this is pulled by Bell Drummond out towards deep backward square. Jamie Overton does the fielding, and they'll pick up one more. 19 without loss. Now, anybody who's listened to me over the years, well, may not still be with us, really. I think probably fallen asleep by now, but will know I'm a big fan of Sam Billings in a cricketing sense and in a general life sense as well. Not only for his cricket, but for his interviews. As in over the wicket once again comes Jordan Clark, and this one's pulled by Denley out towards Overton, and they'll pick up a single. And one more to the total. He came out with one of the great lines, Sam Billings, on an interview. Now, he is now part of the England one-day team, which is terrific, and he should be because he's a fantastic cricketer. But when he was sort of just getting into it, and he got that 100 against Australia, he was interviewed afterwards. As in over the wicket once again comes Jordan Clark, and this is chopped by Bell Drummond down to short fine leg, and they're thinking about the single again, and there's no run there. And he was asked about that, and he said it's the hardest team to break into in the world. What a great line that is from Sam Billings. 20 without loss, and of course the great thing is now he's broken into it, so that's even better, isn't it, when you say things like that. So well done, Mr. Billings, as always. Lovely to have him tuned in. As I say, S. Curran normally is tuned in somewhere to us. Of course, those poor fellas are isolating again now, aren't they? As in over the wicket comes Jordan Clark, and Bell Drummond's driving off the toe end of the bat, and Gus Atkinson will swing round and do the fielding up there at mid-off. Again, it's all this pace off at the moment, just a single. Bell Drummond's on to 12, 21 without loss.
Sam Billings, I think this may be, I mean, Sam will correct us if he's still listening. I think this might be his fourth spell of isolating this year, because he was 10 days in and out of the IPL when that was truncated. And obviously there's another spell here now, so yeah, he spent a lot of time in hotel rooms.
As in over the wicket once again comes Jordan Clark. This is driven back up the pitch by Denley, gets a fingertip to it as Jordan hurt. Jordan Clark, it's a great bit of work off his own bowling, because that was absolutely hammered by Joe Denley, but it's a good over from Jordan Clark. 4 gone, just the 4 runs off it after 4. Surrey were 14 for 2. Kent after 4, 22 without loss.
Indeed so, you're right, absolutely stung the right hand of Jordan Clark, still nursing it a little bit, but trying to drag it onto the stumps.
Yeah, it can't be any fun, obviously, for the players that are in isolation again, although as we did say last week, their gaming's come on, hasn't it?
Yeah, so if people are aware of Twitch as a platform, Sam Billings is doing that, playing FIFA. His Twitter as well, a lot of stuff about players you should pick up.
COD.
COD,
they all
indeed.
play COD.
Talking about Jack Leaning and Jordan Cox, who've been playing Call of Duty all the way through the winter. But I think Sam Billings, as much as anything, as a response to being in isolation, he's made good use of it. Jamie Overton then bowling to Denley. Top edge is 4 runs. I think that's 4. Has that gone for 6?
4.
It's 4. I was going to say, it really did balloon off, didn't it? Overton's bowled that full bore. Denley has swung very hard at that. That's come off a top edge and 1 bounce for 4.
Yeah, interesting. Bit of pace. And Joe Denley, obviously not where he intended, but it's absolutely flown away over the top of Jamie Smith. Almost went for 6.
Yeah, it's very close indeed.
No, very useful shot that, but interesting. Bit of pace on, and the ball flies to the boundary.
So Overton, once more from the pavilion end. On to Denley, 6 on his Spitfire shirt, pulled away, doesn't get all of that, it'll go out to square leg. Slightly back of the length, perhaps not even that actually, just good length from Jamie Overton. He'll get a single anyway, 27 for none. I'll make way for Jeremy Coney at the end of this over, so you can tell your relatives who are making the tea, they can come back and listen now in a minute. Here comes Overton to Bell Drummond, flicked off his pads, deftly done by Bell Drummond, just backward of square, and they'll come back for a comfortable 2, well run. And for me, Bell Drummond is probably the one batsman this evening who's managing to work the ball around 360. Clark hit really hard, and did a great job for his side, but it just seems Belldrummond has the touch.
It's a very sensible start from these two.
Belldrummond has 14 so far as he faces Overton. Having said that, heavy ball from Overton. He'd had to dig that one out and off stump, didn't he, just to make sure he got the bat on it. And there is no run. 29 for none. The run rate 6.21, required rate 6.52. This could easily be what it's like overs 18 and 19 for me. The way this is going.
It's 100 exactly from here.
Yeah. So here is Overton then to bowl to Belldrummond. That's going to be 4 runs at least. Yes, indeed. 1 bounce for 4. Wide, long on. Again, it's got no width at all, but he's just working that. His hands really quickly through that.
Yes, well said, Mr. Cole. Those are quick hands from Daniel Belldrummond, because followed him, Jamie Overton. He's still gone through with the shot and got most of it. So wonderful hands there from Daniel Belldrummond, and expensive over this, 11 off it with a ball to go.
That's what he does so well, and why he's so valuable in T20 cricket, Daniel Belldrummond. No width whatsoever. 33 for none. Just runs that through third man. It'll be 4 runs. Very deliberate. Loves to play that shot. Consecutive 4s by Belldrummond to end the over, and that's a little victory for Kent. A little victory. Still a long way out, but 33 for none of 5 overs on BBC London, BBC Radio Kent, on DAB, World Wide Web via the BBC Sport website and app, and on the Surrey stream as well. Welcome wherever you're listening. I'll leave you with Mark Church shortly. Even it was going so well.
It was going brilliantly.
Shortly to be joined by Jeremy Coney.
Thank you very much indeed, Matt Cole. So 15 off that over. Surrey's best over was 15 as well, I think, which was the 15th over of their innings. But that's come in the 5th over for Kent. So where they need to be, 37 without loss, Kent. That target again for them, 129. Gus Atkinson down below us. This is the final over of the power play, of course, so after this they can get 5 out on the boundary rope, as Gus Atkinson's coming over the wicket here to Joe Denley, and Denley gets a length delivery that he pushes into the leg side, and round comes Gareth Batty to do the retrieval work, and there's no run. So Denley's had a couple of moments where he's tried to smash the ball down the ground. Belldrummond's played it all very sensibly so far. And at the moment, Kent, a very, very steady start in what is a very low run chase of 129. Surrey just changing their field a touch. Gareth Batty's going to go up to mid-on, and they're going to get 2 men back on that leg side boundary rope now for Joe Denley, defending the long boundary on the leg side as Denley backs away and Gus Atkinson follows him outside his leg stump. It's a swing and a miss again from Denley, and then that's taken by Jamie Smith, moving away to his left-hand side. Welcome back, Jeremy Coney.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, well, I mean, Kent have just played some lovely cricket shots, haven't they? It's kind of been just normal transmission, really, from them.
Atkinson only. Denley.
Well, there's a heave.
To swing this leg side with 2 men back. He's defending that long leg side boundary at the moment, is Gus Atkinson. And Joe Denley moves on to 16, and Kent move on to 38 without loss. Well, Belldrummond's just been very sensible, hasn't he?
I haven't seen a lot of Belldrummond, but he's impressed me already just in these few overs. The timing, a delicious flick for 2 off his pads.
It's on strike here, Belldrummond, as this one he's pulling from Atkinson into the leg side, and round comes Overton, gets the throw away very quickly. Good bit of cricket that all round, and 1 more to Belldrummond. He's on to 23, 39 without loss.
Lovely on drive, a nice cut from Denley, who gave himself room off Moriarty out to the square, the square boundary. So there's been some, and then a flick over sort of wide mid-on for a boundary also from Belldrummond.
Waits again does Denley, and swing and a miss from Joe Denley. Small ball by Atkinson,
but generally too short from Surrey. I think I mean, how many pull strokes have we seen already in the 6 overs? Probably 5 or 6 of them, and there's a missed one right there. And bowling it with, a fine leg up and a third man up is a dangerous delivery. you know, when you're trying to defend a very low total.
In over the wicket again. Oh, well bowled, Gus Atkinson. It's a slower delivery, short delivery, and I think Joe Denley's played about 8 shots at that, and in the end it's just one bounce into the gloves of Jamie Smith. Good bit of bowling that from Gus Atkinson. Good over from Gus Atkinson. Just 2 off it, 6 gone, and Kent 39 without loss.
Yeah, I think you can live with that kind of short ball, certainly, if you're just getting them played and played and played. Normal length delivery. Don't think really Surrey have kind of found that length that they need to operate from, that Kent found within the first 3 or 4 overs, didn't they? It was a fairly foolish delivery, but with slow and some sort of revs on the ball from the back of the hand, sometimes over the finger, sort of cutting the ball and getting some sort of response from this surface. I don't think we've seen that so far from Surrey.
Well, we're out the power play. We're into the 7th over. Here goes Bal Drummond, nudging ball leg side. Wants 2, will only get a single. Surrey have got 2 back there now. Overton is out there at deep mid-wicket. Then it's Conor McCurr at deep backward square. Batty's warming up fine leg on the edge of the circle. There is a 3rd man. There's the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. There's the extra cover. There's a mid-off, and there's a long on for Jordan Clark. Coming in over the wicket to Joe Denley. Slower ball again, and Denley's driving this one down the ground. David comes up to do the fielding, and the throw comes in. Nicely bowled again from Jordan Clark, 41 without.
And the
loss.
only other thought I had was with Moriarty. It's important that he started well, and he was okay. But with 2 right-handers, the left armour going away, you know, that's the same as a leg spinner, in other words. I just thought he didn't quite have the courage.
As Jordan Clark is in again to Bal Drummond, driving. Oh, and what an effort from Rory Burns. In there at short extra cover. He's got a hand to it, but I think that's hurt him. Rory Burns diving away to his right. Rory Burns, he's got a right hand to it, and he stayed down, Rory Burns. I think that has hurt Rory Burns. He's got a smile on his face. I'm just watching him on the stream now. But yeah, that was a great effort to get across to that from Rory Burns. Umpire Gould is across. Dr. Gould is over there now. And Rory Burns is down on his haunches at the moment. But that was hammered by Bal Drummond. And Rory Burns dived to his right, got a hand to it. He's back up on his feet again, is Rory Burns. And just a single for Bal Drummond. Brilliant effort. Bal Drummond absolutely nailed that, didn't he?
His timing is just very natural. And it was hit with a great deal of power.
He's all right, Rory Burns, as Jordan Clark is into Denley, and it's a slower ball which Denley tugged off his hip down towards long leg. Round comes Conor McCurr, slides, picks up, gets the throw in, 1 bounce over the top of the stumps. That'll be 2 more to Denley. Cleverly played by Joe Denley, waited for it this time and then just tugged it off his hip for a couple of runs. 44 without loss, but Rory Burns still just ringing that right hand. He's okay, but that was powerfully struck by Bal Drummond as Jordan Clark is in. Here is Denley pulling shots away through the leg side. He splits the 2 men back on that leg side boundary rope, but he's got all of that as Joe Denley, and he moves on to 23.
It's an emphatic shot, wasn't it? Just dragged down Clark the wrong length again, and now of course Kent are looking as if they're away.
That is a lovely shot.
Whether Surrey can pull it back, it's very hard to pull back in these situations.
Well, when you've got a low total on the board, there is no margin for error. As a slower ball from Jordan Clark is slapped into the offside really there by Joe Denley off the toe end of the bat, and Rory Burns does the fielding. End of the over, 48 without loss then. Kent here on BBC Radio Kent, BBC Radio London and the Surrey live stream. Absolute joy to have Jeremy Coney alongside us, but at the moment it just feels that Kent are in control.
Well, they are, and they're scoring from both ends. One's 25 off 20 and one 23 off 22, so it's difficult for the bowlers to bowl at one of the players. They're able to just manoeuvre the ball around. The odd bad ball, which is usually by line or length from the Surrey bowlers. Maybe Batty can change this up here a little bit, let's see, and can wrest a bit of control away from the opening batsman. I just felt that Moriarty just needed to just flight the ball a wee bit more, and maybe at middle and leg to the right-hander, leave square open to encourage the stroke, and then bring the top edge into play a little bit more. I thought his line was a wee bit straight.
So first ball from Gareth Batty, and it's pulled by Bell Drummond. Wow, from Daniel Bell Drummond. Again, he's just picked the length of that up so quickly, and it's those hands of Bell Drummond, and that has whistled away for 4. And Daniel Bell Drummond moves on to 29. 50-run partnership for the opening wicket, 52 without loss. And Daniel Bell Drummond moves on to 29 as Batty over the wicket to the right-handed Bell Drummond, who's drilling this one off the back foot down the ground towards long on. Bell Drummond moves on to 30, 53 without loss. He's been a fabulous player for years, Daniel Bell Drummond.
Just looks to have too many shots at the moment for the Surrey attack. That one he could go back and punch it for single.
As Denny's down the pitch to Batty, turns this one into the leg side. Saw him coming, so a bit flatter from Gareth Batty, and they will pick up a single. But no, he's been a fabulous player for years. Probably not scored the weight of championship runs he would have wanted to, Daniel Bell Drummond.
Is that right?
But in terms of T20, he has had a wonderful past couple of years, as here he is opening the face and guiding this one down towards third man. They'll pick up 3. Denley's scampering back for the third. Good running from Joe Denley. Throw comes in from Conor McCurr, but Joe Denley has come scampering back for the third. Bell Drummond's on to 33 here, 57 without loss, as Joe Denley waits again on 24 as Batty over the wicket to him. Denley's going to slog sweep this, and he's got a lot of it, and it's going to go for 6. You could see as Batty let that go what he was intending to do, Joe Denley, and he's done it very well indeed. And what I like about this from these two is they're not letting Gareth Batty settle.
They're not at all.
They know what a big part of this Surrey attack Gareth Batty is. As Batty's in again, and this is turned by Joe Denley out towards deep mid-wicket, and they will pick up a single, because it's not often that Gareth Batty's first over goes for 16 runs in a T20 game, but that's exactly what they've done there, and it's clever batting. 8 overs gone, and Jeremy Coney, very, very clever batting from Denley and Bell Drummond.
Well, yeah, it starts with a pull, and then he sort of just tries to straighten it up a little bit and get it a bit fuller. Please give us a ball that I can actually just get, and I think, yes, that's the pace that I can bowl on this surface and get the length as well, and then I can go from there. I haven't found the place that I can go to at the moment. I get a little bit outside off, and I'm just tucked away with a late cut. I drag it down a bit, I get hammered away. I get the ball in the spot for a forward defence, it goes for 6 with a slog sweep. There's nowhere where he could feel comfortable at the end of that over.
Dan Moriarty back into the attack to bowl the 9th over, reverse swept, first ball by Denley straight to Gus Atkinson on the edge of the circle at third man. So Dan Moriarty makes the breakthrough for Surrey. You feel Surrey needed something there, and Joe Denley, I don't think he can quite believe he's just done that, because Gus Atkinson didn't have to move, and he got quite a lot of it. Joe Denley, reverse sweep straight to Gus Atkinson, and Denley goes for 31. And Kent in the 9th over, Jeremy Coney 64 for 1.
Well, is that going to be just a little break that Surrey can earn, a few overs where they can just come together and they can pull this game a little bit tighter than it's been, because it's been one-way traffic really. Denley and Bell Drummond have just looked comfortable. They're playing cricket shots, as I say. They're not slogging. They're not taking huge risks. The field is broken up. All the bowlers have taken a bit more tap than Kent bowlers were. They were allowed to bowl a little bit more and got into their work. So that's been the difference so far for me. Cricket shots versus more power hitting, really.
Well, Ollie Robinson out there at number 3. As round the wicket comes Moriarty to the right-handed Robinson. Lovely shot to get started. Just pushes this neatly and tidily out through the offside and will pick up 2 runs. So that's a very nice start from Ollie Robinson. 66 for 1.
See, only 4 on that offside. I reckon he's bowling the wrong line here at the moment. It would be better, if anything, to come, left arm over
Around the wicket he comes again to Robinson. That's better. And Robinson pushes this one down into the leg side.
I don't know how tall is Moriarty? You know,
6 foot.
He looks
Moriarty,
tall
yeah,
bowler. So
is.
he's still got to flight the ball. Still flight it. Be a genuine left armour.
Around the wicket he comes once again. That's flatter. Robinson looks to cut. That bounces, goes past his edge and taken by Jamie Smith. He's got a deep mid-wicket, deep backwards
he's
square
got a bit
and
of cover.
long on.
He's got cover, so he can bowl middle and leg, encourage that on drive, or tuck.
Round the wicket he goes again, and this is driven by Robinson again through the offside, and they'll pick up another couple. So 2 more to the total as the throw is rocketed in by Ben Geddes. Yeah, with those 2 back on the leg side and the long on, that middle and leg line, as you say, from round the wicket.
Will he sweep if it's because there's a man at 45 who can catch a top edge?
As this one again, he's looking to cut Robinson, and that's gone past his outside edge and into the gloves of Jamie Smith. So 9 overs gone, just the 4 off the over from Dan Moriarty. Drummond's still there on 33. Robinson has 4. 68 for 1, Kent, needing a further 61 to win off 11 overs, which is nothing really if you think about it. And so far they've done this very well. But in these funny low scorers, there can be a little flurry of wickets, and all of a sudden it all gets very tight again.
You can get a hiccup. And now, as I say, one end open. That's why those 2 little drives in that over from Robinson, it's just a wee bit disappointing. You don't give those runs away easily to the new man.
Gareth Batty to bowl the 10th over to Daniel Drummond, and this one's punched down the ground by Daniel Drummond. Very sensible, just picks up a single too.
See, I'd rather he was playing that off the front foot. You know, that you can't allow a batsman time to see the ball, not much turn. There's no danger to that stroke.
Batty's in to Robinson. That's nicely bowled by Gareth Batty. Bit more flight on that one, and Robinson looking to work leg side, and it rolls back up the pitch.
Now
Gareth Batty does the fielding off his own bowling.
Mid on, mid off. You've got to do your job. Save the single here.
Over the wicket comes Batty once again to Robinson, who's turning leg side. Will get a single out towards Gus Atkinson, and one more to the total. Robinson moves on to 5 because Kent know they can just knock it around now. They don't have to go mad. They could just knock this total down very simply and very steadily. As Drummond back onto strike, and forward he comes to Batty, just nudges into the offside. It's good running as the throw comes in from Conor McCurr, backing up's done by Rory Burns, who comes in off the boundary, but don't have to take any risks here.
Well, you see, I don't think you can allow a team like this to run their way to victory. I mean, it might look better in the scorebook.
As Batty's in again, and this one's tucked away by Robinson into the leg side again. Up comes Gus Atkinson to do the fielding. Another single for Robinson.
You know, it might take 15 overs rather than 12. It might, you know what I mean? It
Yes,
looks
absolutely.
nicer, and you think, but you don't give yourselves the chance to win. You've got to get someone to get a slip in and try and get the ball running away, and you've got to have a catcher up.
Batty's in, and that's nicely bowled. Just flights it up to Drummond, who pushes it back down the pitch. So 10 overs gone. Just to give you a quick idea, I'm going to head off now, and Matt Cole's going to join Jeremy Coney. 72 for 1, Kent. After 9 overs, Kent was 68 for 1. Surrey were 28 for 3 after 9, and 44 for 3 I think after 10. 42 for 3. So that shows where Kent are. A few thoughts from Jeremy Coney, and he will be joined in a moment by Matt Cole.
Yeah, just, I mean, what we're talking about, the difference between these two sides at the moment as far as batting is concerned, is that it's just that the bowlers haven't quite delivered with the precision, I think, that we saw from the Kent bowlers. They've generally brought people forward, then occasionally as you started to come forward you got your short one, but not many. And I think that the length, particularly from Surrey, has been a wee tad short, and also the line is leg side too much.
Conor McCurr for the first time for Surrey, played up to mid-on by Robinson. They come through for a single. Do seem to be a lot of singles on offer for Kent, certainly running well. Is it a lack of pressure from Surrey? Is that what you're saying, Jeremy?
Well, it has been, hasn't it? I mean, it's always difficult because you tend to go, I think, searching for wickets, and that can sometimes be a danger. Sometimes you can win games being slightly defensive with the ball.
So Bell Drummond then facing. He has McCurr, flicks him off his hip. It's going to be caught. No, just in front of the fielder. Evans made an attempt at it, got both hands to it, almost like a scrum half, shuttling it forward, but couldn't make the catch. And Bell Drummond survives. They come back for 3 in the end, was it? I lost complete track of where they were running there, but certainly they've come through for an odd number of runs.
Right, one,
just the one, is it? I was going to say, not enough for 3. Just single. 74 for 1. Robinson facing straight back down the ground. Lovely shot. That's dug out from a full length, but he slammed it back past the bowler, and that's 4 for Robinson, who's settling very quickly. Surrey can't afford this. They cannot be giving runs away to the new batsman, as you were pointing out earlier, Jeremy, weren't you? His first couple of balls, he took a couple of 2s off, and he seems to be warming to this already. In fact, he's just leathered that past the...
Yeah, well, that's a length ball, though, isn't it? I mean, he's just cleared the front leg and just used the full face of the bat, though.
Yeah, in the slot for him. 78 for 1, and just worked into the offside. No single there, as it ends up at mid-off. But Kent at the moment, looking at their run rate, up above 7, about 5.5 and over they need to 20. At the moment it's looking like they may well finish well short of that, unless Surrey come up with something here. But T20 matches can turn very, very quickly.
Yep, they can. But it also shows you that a batsman can dominate T20, can't he? A good, decent player can change the match.
Keeper Ollie Robinson facing now, straight back over the bowler's head again. That'll be 4 more. And he's carted that this time. He's made himself room outside the leg stump and taken him on again. Again, it's in the slot for Robinson. He's timed it well. 4 runs.
It's just a wee bit short, isn't it? And Robinson's given himself a little bit of room outside the leg stump and bunted it, really. It's a heavy bunt back over the top of the bowler for to that long off boundary. A good stroke, a bit of invention and innovation there.
10 off the over from McCurr, though. I need a good response here. Surrey. Robinson bouncer gets well underneath it. He's not worried about that. Robinson, they've already taken 10 off the over. Kent 82 for 1 at the end of the 11th. They need 47 from 9 now, and they can just work the ball around. We were saying in the first innings, a low total. If a second team get off to a fly, then they're in the enviable position of knowing they can take singles rather than having to swing on a difficult pitch for the boundary. So 82 for 1. What's the way back into this, Jeremy, do you think, for Surrey?
Oh, well, they've just... I mean, at the moment, you just sense that Batty's looking around, finding, if he can, just one of his bowlers to really start to close the game up a little bit, and he hasn't found that yet. He's tried himself, he's tried Moriarty, he's tried all his seamers, but no one's been able to quieten the batsman.
6 U's so far. Atkinson now on at the Vauxhall end and cut by Daniel Bell Drummond. He loves to play that shot. It was there for him too. Takes a single down to third man, and they're on to 83 for 1.
There's been a terrible absence of luck about the 82 for 1 at the moment too, and so it's a little bit disheartening, I think, for the fielding side when you're not actually creating a few chances as well.
So Atkinson to bowl from this Vauxhall end. Robinson facing. He started well so far. Slam back past the bowler again. That'll be 4 more. And Robinson loves that shot. He's played it 3 times, scored 4 each time, and absolutely emphatic. He's hit that back. 19 from 14 balls now. You wouldn't necessarily pick him from the Kent side to think he's going to come and blaze away, Ollie Robinson, but he's doing exactly the job Kent wanted. Into the side for Zach Crawley, who's away with the England squad, the New England squad. This one's just run out to point, no run. He's come out and he's hit the ball really hard, really well.
He has, but he's used the full face. All those boundaries you're talking about have been within an arc of maybe 40 metres straight down the ground. And whether it's been full or whether it's been short, he's been able to deal with it, and very comfortably.
Yeah, he's not swung across the line at all as yet.
Nice still head.
Faces now as Atkinson comes in, lifts that. Is that going to clear the fielder? No, he's underneath it, making ground. Oh no, not enough ground. Always second favourite, and in the end has put out an arm and it's gone to ground there. That's Ben Geddes, I think you were following that pretty closely, Jeremy Coney.
He was never looking like it, really. He just didn't move quickly enough, and always was going to have to dive to get even a hand to it. He did, but it spilled from there because he was off balance.
2 for Robinson. He's on to 21 now. It's a swing and a miss from Robinson. The same from a Surrey point of view. Those steepling catches were going to Kent in their innings. That's a little bit of luck they need to break their way back into the game at the moment. You'd have to say Kent look like they're cantering away with this 89 for 1.
And they've deserved to. Let's be fair. I mean, you can take a pounding some days, and you just got to say, well played. We weren't very good today.
So Atkinson bowls now to Robinson, cuts that away, 1 bounce to the fielder. It'll be a single. Overton coming in from the offside boundary, and they end that over on 90.
Oh, look,
for
another
1.
run.
Oh, it's an overthrow.
Is it?
No, have they come through for another? Did they come through for a second there? I was looking at my pad there, Jeremy Coney. I'd already called that dead.
It was a bit again. It's just
score. They did. They run.
Yes,
they run out
symptomatic of those that kind of semi-looseness that's been available for Kent to take advantage of today. Looseness in the top three or 4 batsmen to get themselves out so easily before they'd actually just even had a look and seen. You can have a look for 1 ball. Okay, you might not want to take 4 up because that puts pressure on yourself, but at least, you know, you've got the chance to then make better decisions. So that was loose. 3 for 17 is hard to come back for. The next 87 runs, only 3 wickets fell. So there was a yin and a yang about the innings, wasn't there, for Surrey? And then the same things happened with the bowling and now the catching. So it hasn't quite been a performance at all they can feel pleased with.
For Kent, you'd have to say it's a great composite performance so far. Deep in the crease, Moriarty bowls this one for Bell Drummond. Just flick that off his toes down to a fine leg. They'll take a single. 92 for 1 now. They need it's required. I'm looking around the scoreboard rather than doing the maths. I should try and do it in my head. It's cut away by Robinson out towards the offside boundary. They come through another, and 36 to win now. 93 for 1.
Well, I mean, it just shows that Kent at the moment are probably the best side in this group right now.
Yeah, they're leading it, and hoping it's another little feather by Daniel Bell Drummond, very deliberately, delicately played down through third man. He'll come back for 2 with 3 as well. Robinson's running the third really hard and gets there. Good running, pressure on the fielder. But to be honest, Daniel Bell Drummond loves that shot, just playing it through third man. Surrey will know that. Not really secret with the analysis these days. But Robinson to 41, Robinson has 24, and this partnership looks like it's taking the game away from Surrey and could give Kent back-to-back wins against their oldest rival. Reverse from Ollie Robinson, and that'll be 4 runs from him against the spinner. And he's a breakneck 28 now, 100 for 1, 29 more to win, and at the moment this is looking like a canter by Kent towards victory at the Oval.
Well, just good decision making, and then good execution of the stroke, not pulling out of it at all, believing the strokes that they're playing. I mean, Bell Drummond,
as Moriarty bowls to Robinson, almost gives the return catch back to him, but won't stick. Bell Drummond running through for a single at 101 for 1.
Now that's the pace I'm talking about. You see, that's that one with almost a front edge, sort of middle outside edge, nearly a return catch.
Moriarty then, last ball of his over, bowls to Bell Drummond, punches off the back foot up to long on, takes a comfortable single. 102 for 1, 27 now to win, and Kent have, just checking my maths is absolutely right, they've got 7 overs to do it in. There shouldn't be any way that Kent can lose this from here. Surrey are going to have to do something absolutely extraordinary to grab this game back.
Well, it'll either take a very poor piece of cricket from Kent to get anywhere near a loss in this game at this stage. They don't look like it. Bell Drummond has looked like the batsman of the game, and today he uses the full 360 degrees. He can give that delicate late cut that he's done not only to the spinner but to the fast bowlers as well. He's got a powerful sort of drive. He's flicked it beautifully off his pads. He's flicked one over for 4. sort of wide mid-wicket, so he's got a full range of shots.
Jamie Overton to Daniel Bell-Drummond on middle and leg. He's touched out towards mid-wicket, single taken there. He seems to be in better touch on this strip than any other batsman that we've seen this evening.
He has. And perhaps the disappointing thing from Surrey's point of view is that their spinners haven't been able to settle. I thought they might cause some trouble, pace off the ball, and if they could get a bit of confidence and get it to turn or to dip a little bit.
Overton to Robinson, swing and a miss by Robinson, again looking to lift that over the bowler's head, through the wicketkeeper, no run.
Hold on to everything in the air that came close to the field. They might have an outside chance. 120 odd is never really going to be competitive nowadays unless the pitch is playing tricks, and I don't think it's playing as many tricks as it was before, but that could be the bowling, couldn't it? Easily.
Yeah. So Overton 88 on his back, coming in, trying to make something happen for Surrey here. Spitfires 103 for 1. Robinson goes the uppercut, misses, 2 dot balls, but it's been a rarity for Kent, to be honest, in this reply to 128 for 7 Surrey made. The bowling from Kent, 28 for 3. They had them off the 9 overs. Overton's back to his mark. Turns now. 3 balls to go of the 14th. Kent needing 26 to win. Robinson just flicks this one down the back with a square to get 4 for it. No good fielding in the end. It's rifled back in. They'll come back for just 2. But Robinson's on to 31. So he'd been very impressed by Robinson. Probably a little bit unlucky when Sam Billings came back from the IPL firstly to be out of the side, and then Zach Crawley came back from the Test team. Their regular wicketkeeper in 4-day cricket. But if you want to prove a point to the captain, there's not many better ways of doing it than this. Especially against Surrey at the Oval, over the top of mid-off, who's given that up, and that'll be 4 runs from Robinson, who's come out to hit. As I said, he wouldn't necessarily be a choice of the top 6 to say Daniel Bell-Drummond anchors, Robinson comes swinging, but he's managed to find the boundary again. Again, it's in that arc, as you were saying, the V.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's not there's no clout element to the stroke, is there? It's actually a cricket shot. Okay, the foot isn't right there, but the bat is coming right down the line, just up and over the 30 metres.
20 to win, 6.1 overs to go. Cut away, no run there for Daniel Bell-Drummond. End of the over. It's 109 for 1. So 20 exactly to win off the remaining 6 overs here on BBC Radio Kent and BBC London, DAB for Kent listeners.
So who have Kent got left? And they have had it. This is their 12th game, right?
Yeah,
so they've got 2 further games.
Middlesex at Lords.
You would think that might be that's a denizen of the deep as far as the south is concerned.
They've
isn't
not
it?
been
They're a
putting
bottom
up any
dweller,
trees, that's for sure.
Right.
And Sussex at home.
And so that'll be harder.
Yeah,
but
I would think.
But they're pretty safe now. They'll go on to 17 points after tonight's match.
You think that will be a quarter-final berth?
Yes, you would.
Maybe 2 out of the 3 of these 3 games. We were thinking that should be a home quarter-final.
Well, it's Surrey that'll be the concerning one, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Essex and Gloucestershire could both challenge Sussex now. Of course, they got Gloucestershire next, so that's a must-win game.
Yeah.
Whether they get some more players back, and that's in the lap of the gods. And those, I don't know whether do people like Curran and that, are they coming out of isolation? They're supposed to come out on Wednesday, I think. So whether they play next Friday, I don't know.
That's a shrug from everybody, I'm afraid, there on Clark bowling to Bell-Drummond. He's just
lovely. There's 2 here.
They'll come back
easy.
for 2. They've run really hard. Robinson just about got home. Might have been close. Overton steaming in from the boundary, but to put pressure on the fielders. Kent have done that throughout this South group. They've run very aggressively, and that's paid rewards this time. 111 for 1.
Yep. So I mean, Surrey were always a bit light on their wins. While they started well and they had access to their main players, if we could call them that, then there were a couple of rain-offs and so on, but then it's been a bit mixed since then.
As Clark bowl, slow ball to Bell Drummond, but he's just tapped that into the offside, and they'll take another single, 112 for 1. Maybe some better news for everybody towards the top of this group is that Hampshire 175 for 6 have Somerset 31 for 4 inside the power play. So maybe Somerset are going to drop points here. Essex and Sussex isn't really progressed enough to tell who's going to win that one at the moment.
Right. Well, Somerset, of course, they've got Hampshire, as you say tonight. They've got Glamorgan away.
As goes to the ramp, as Robinson doesn't get anything on it at all. It might have come off his toe, actually, through the wicketkeeper. No run.
Yep, slower ball. And then, of course, they had an extra game, didn't they? So they always were only going to have these 2 matches, Surrey. And other teams, that they gave that away, in other words, the match, to the teams that were around them. And those teams have all got the bottom dwellers to play, and some of those teams have got 2 of them.
This will be it's going to be fascinating anyway, the way it's spread across the top 5 teams, the points at the moment. This one's driven out into the offside by Robinson. He'll take 2 off this one at 114 for 1. I think it's fair to say it's when, not if, Kent wrap this one up. Kent's net run rate is pretty tragic, I have to say.
Yeah, but their points will be okay, won't
it? Points will be okay, absolutely. So, from a tiebreaker point of view, they're not looking good, but if you keep winning, that's not an issue, is it? So, they could do with a bit of a boost if that were to be the case. Robinson smashes that into the offside over the head of Rory Burns, and extra cover. Stood and delivered that one, and that is an aggressive shot through extra cover, 4 runs.
But they haven't found the length, have they? He's a short man, as Robinson, so that generally short men like cut. They like the pull. They like to play off the back foot. You want to bring them forward. Tall men like to come forward and play their drives. They're the ones you get to play the horizontal shots.
Yeah, too short, too wide. It's wide again. They'll take 4 more. Identical ball almost from Jordan Clark, and identical outcome. Consecutive 4s from Ollie Robinson at the end of that over. They've taken 14, is that right, off off that over?
It's ending quickly, isn't it? And that was always a possibility.
13, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, 122 for 1 at this stage. So you wonder about Surrey a wee bit. I mean, on a ground which is generally known for run making, do you go for more batsmen and try and win the 2020 matches with a strong batting, and perhaps your all-rounder at number 7 and number 8 become good batsmen who are more batting all-rounders, in order to try and make totals and really push hard with the bat right through their innings, and therefore you choose to attack in your first 6 over power play. Now, whether Surrey want to do that in the future, I don't know, or whether they want to pick a bowling dominated side. So, because I mean, you can pick that balance quite nicely.
McCurr to Bell Drummond, cuts it away. Is it going to be enough for 4? It's not. Overton will stop it. They'll come back for 2. Robinson just stops at the wicketkeeper's end to check his captain's coming through for the second, and he is. 5 to win now, Spitfires, and we're in the 16th over here. This is going to be a big victory for Kent at this point.
From what I can see, I think Kent today with Milne and Milnes, and I didn't see a lot of class, and really I haven't really seen too much of him, but the spinners looked likely. They've got variety there.
McCurr to Bell Drummond, goes over the top. That's going to be level. That's 4 runs through extra cover and scores level. And Kent, it's going to be, as I said, a big win with a number of balls to spare here, and probably for 9 wickets as well. And that's Daniel Bell Drummond's 50 as well, as he clears the infield through extra cover. A captain's innings from DBD, as they call him. 128 for 1. Scores level here.
Just a beautiful inside out. Stroke over extra.
And McCurr then to bowl. And Daniel Bell Drummond, that is the winning run into mid-wicket, comes through. As I said, it's a captain's innings at the end. It's been a country walk for Kent to win this one. Back-to-back victories against Surrey as well. They've come to the Oval, and with 4.4 overs to go, 4.3 make that, I'm exaggerating, 27 balls to spare though for Kent. They've won by 9 wickets here. Daniel Bell Drummond 53 from 37, and Ollie Robinson 45 from 30. An emphatic victory.
It has been comprehensive, hasn't it? And almost at a canter too. Once Surrey couldn't get the total that was going to just press home, say, of 150, 160. But I'm afraid they lost too many wickets early, and there was too much to do from number sort of 6 down from the Surrey side. They didn't have perhaps their top players, okay, that happens in games, and they just needed to play more consistent cricket. They were just a bit loose right throughout the day, with the bat and then with the ball, and Kent are deserving winners by 9 wickets. It's been really just a bit of a practice game for them, the way they played. I thought Bell Drummond looked outstanding, the way he was able to just select his strokes and then the execution of them right around the ground, folks. You know, the 306 made it very hard for the bowlers to find an area that was safe for them to prevent him scoring. There wasn't much of a semblance of a chance that he gave either. Robinson came out and played aggressively, gave himself a bit of room and hit through in the arc, and so he was using, you know, all the risk was on his side, if you like, because it was the full face of the bat. And Denley too looked in good form as well. So I just think it's a comfortable victory, well deserved.
We'll be handing back DAB on BBC Radio Kent very shortly with an update with Stephen Brown, our presenter there. But huge thanks to Jeremy Coney for joining us this evening. It's been an education, and to Mark Church as well. Me, Matt Cole, on DAB will be, as I said, handing back to our listeners with a final summary of this game. But it's a huge Kent win here. 27 balls and 9 wickets. They really have done a job on Surrey. And our respective stations, of course, will have coverage of our 4-day game starting on Sunday at 11 o'clock.
Thank you to Matt Cole and Jeremy Coney, and of course our very own Mark Church on commentary, even though it very much didn't go Surrey's way today. Still with the Quins boys here after what was a 9-wicket victory at the end for Kent with 27 balls remaining. Basically a thrashing, basically a shellacking. It's not what you came for, particularly not you, Mark. But just briefly on that, we're not going to dwell too much on this defeat. But I mean, it was. We took, what was it, 9 overs to get 10 overs to get our first boundary with the bat. We took 9 overs to get our first wicket with the ball. It was just one of those bad days at the office, wasn't it, Mark? It just didn't go our way.
Yeah, well, we said at half-time that we needed to take early wickets and slow down the run rate, and that didn't really happen. They had a great opening partnership, and yeah, it's one of those days, I think, in any sport, you look back on that and you just go, take your learnings from it.
Yeah.
It wasn't to be, and kind of move on, really.
Yeah, in terms of the Kent run chase, it was, well, no surprises really. Daniel Bell Drummond, who's such a threat with the bat, especially in this format, 53 not out of 37 balls. Ollie Robinson also decent not from him, unbeaten on 45 after 30 balls, and the only wicket to fall, that of Joe Denley. It was Dan Moriarty, the spinner, left arm spinner, who managed to take his wicket, but very much too little too late, really. And Kent showed us how it's done, and they've achieved back-to-back wins over Surrey in the space of just 8 days, and it means that it's no longer in Surrey's hands as far as whether they get through to the quarterfinals of this T20 Blast. One more try as we go to Bristol next Friday. But boys, let's talk about something else, shall we? Because I think we need to find a cheerier topic, and hopefully a cheerier topic, and of course, of the sport that you guys play, rugby union. We've got a Lions tour underway, although of course it's heavily impacted by COVID. Not just Lions, not just Springboks, but even Georgia are affected by this, you know, and some of the sides that the Lions face midweek before they start playing the Test series. But if we do get 3 tests against the Springboks, I mean, how special is the Lions tour? It only comes around every 4 years, James. I mean, it's, you know, it would be nice to see again that absolutely top level of rugby union, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you said, it only comes around 1 every 4 years, and for us 3 being British qualified, it is the pinnacle of everything in this country.
Yeah.
So it is incredibly exciting, and it is such a shame that COVID's put a stop to various different things. But the Test series down there in 2009 was one of the greatest Lions Test series I've ever watched, and you just hope you're going to get something similar.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's impacted absolutely everything, sadly. Well, we've seen with the cricket, the ODI squad for England. We've seen with the football, Billy Gilmore and Mason Mount and Ben Chilwell, of course. We've seen with the Olympics, no spectators at all for the Tokyo Games. It's just the reality of the times that we are in right now. But as far as the Lions are concerned, I mean, it's interesting squad, isn't it? They have a lot of Scottish players. I think 8 is the highest number that they've had for some time in a Lions squad. do you think that, what do you make of the sort of makeup of the team that could take on the world, because they are the world champions, remember, the Springboks? Aaron, think there's enough players there who can cause some problems?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, the Springboks are a formidable opposition, World Cup winners, and you know what they're going to come with. They're going to play a kind of forward-oriented game, 6-2 split, and just try and beat it out of you. And but no, I think Warren and that have picked a fantastic squad. Like you said, some of the Scottish players really demanded involvement. People like Hamish Watson, player of the Six Nations, and people like Duan van der Merwe and stuff. And from what I've seen of the first few games, some lads are on fire. Josh Adams scored 7 tries in 2 games or something like that. So there's some lads putting their hands up to selection, and then you've got the kind of the class of people like Tom Curry, Maro Toje, who are always going to be there and going to perform at the highest level. So like we just said, I hope that you can just get both squads fit, fully available with all things COVID, and I think over a test series, them 2 teams going hammer and tongs is going to produce some great rugby.
Just bringing it back to where we are today, Kira Oval here in the 1845 stand, and obviously it's been a one-sided game tonight, boys, but it'd be great for you guys to come back with a capacity crowd, wouldn't it? Proper Friday night experience, maybe bring some of the other Queen's boys down. Do you fancy that? You fancy rejoining us for that, Mark? Would you mind to get a bit of a group together?
Yes, we do.
Get the minibus.
We'll accept the offer.
Right, fantastic.
And we'll get the boys back to the stoop, no issue.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think they call that mutual back scratching. Exactly. But yeah, no, listen, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Aaron, and likewise James and Mark. It's been lovely having a very broad chat, because obviously we do focus on the cricket, but as I said, really, really exciting summer of sport that is underway right now, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get a three test series for Lions against the Springboks over in South Africa as well. So sadly, from here, from the Kia Oval, it's another defeat for Surrey, which means that it's all on that last game against Gloucestershire at Bristol next Friday, and it isn't in their hands. Got to hope that other results go their way if they are going to be in that top 4 and get into the quarterfinals of the T20 Blast. Of course, remember last season went all the way through to the final. There is a glimmer of hope. Make sure that you do watch that game next Friday. But for all of us here at the Kia Oval, thanks very much indeed. See you then next time. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.
I'm not. Everyone's happy. Absolutely right. That's right.